and a snowy. It is a blustery kind of day all across the state of Wisconsin. And no matter where you're at listening this morning, probably seeing some snow, Brian.
Yeah, blizzard warning remains in effect until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Moderate to heavy snow, strong winds gusting up to 45 miles an hour. And the Department of Transportation and everybody with sense, except for Jamie and Parker, if you do not have to leave the house this morning, do not leave the house. And because the roads they're working on the roads, but it's not really safe to travel yet. So
No.
if you can take the day, if you can work from home, schools are closed. You know, the kids aren't going anywhere, and that's pretty much statewide. The schools are closed today. A lot of businesses are closed. It has been an unbelievable 12 hours or more.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about this weather in just a few minutes, and also let you chime in on how conditions are in your area. But we need to start out with the latest in the Middle East, Brian.
We do. One quick thing. You have 1 hour to download the Civic Media app before we start the multi-state text-to-win contest. So this is your time. As you listen to us this first hour, go in, download the free Civic Media app, because starting at 7 o'clock, we are going to begin the text-to-win contest, a multi-state contest, daily cash prizes, one big grand prize, but you have to enter through the app. So
you do.
Let's get to that. And yes, Jamie, it is a lot of the headlines coming out of Iran are about one person and his lack of planning. President Donald Trump urged China and U.S. allies to help resolve disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz, warning NATO faces, quote, very bad future if allies fail to assist. No countries have yet committed to sending warships. Yes, well, that's going to be a running theme through these headlines, because everybody else is like, hey, man, this was FAFO. You started this. You got to figure out how to finish it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this administration has no plan on how to start it or finish it or what to do in between.
Well, in my bones, Jamie, I know we're going to figure it out.
Well, of course, because, that's what Pete Hegseth keeps telling us anyway.
And that's
so
what the president said, that
he'll
feel it in his bones.
If you have the confidence in the two of them,
his bone spurs, yes.
I wish you all luck. In other headlines, Israel announced limited ground operations in southern Lebanon as airstrikes rocked Beirut suburbs. In Iran, smoke billowed over Tehran as state media reported loud booms. Meanwhile, one person was killed in Abu Dhabi after a missile hit a vehicle.
And EU energy ministers are meeting today to discuss how to curb rising energy costs. The price of oil yesterday rose to its highest level since July of 2022. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said today that it's in Europe's interest to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, and member states will discuss what they can do.
In other headlines, Germany said earlier today that NATO should not play a role in securing the Strait of Hormuz after U.S. President Donald Trump warned the defense alliance would face a very bad future if it fails to assist. That's some harsh language. Very bad.
Well, sometimes you realize, maybe starting a war after I angered all our allies and alienating all our allies for the last year might not have been a good move. Several countries have reacted to Trump's call, but did not commit to sending ships to the strait, which has been effectively closed since the war began. China, Japan, and Australia have all said they will not send ships. South Korea said they will, quote, carefully review Trump's request.
What is the over-under on actually getting assistance here? What do you think, if you were a betting kind of guy?
The one who really is hurting probably the most from this is China, but they're not going to do anything to assist Trump. And hey, when you want to be an isolationist, this is what happens. And when you don't talk to anybody except Bibi before you start a war,
it doesn't leave you in a great situation, does it?
No, it surely does not. And yesterday we were not getting anything from our leaders, especially the Energy Secretary, Chris Wright. We'll talk about him more in depth later, but he was very cavalier about the gas, very cavalier, and then he would pivot from cavalier to evasive. So that was a nice interview to watch on a Sunday morning.
It was. Nice, I guess, would be in the eye of the beholder. And if you're being sarcastic, then yes, it was
Yes,
definitely nice. But
if I'm
well,
if I compliment the administration, we'll just make a blanket policy. Assume that it's sarcasm or being facetious. There is a there. So far, I haven't found a lot to compliment them on, and by
no,
a lot I mean any.
I mean, it was hard enough just a few weeks ago, right? And then within the last couple of weeks, they've started this war that they have no way of getting
No
out
end
of.
game.
So, no,
And reports were coming out earlier this morning that a group of 7 leaders talked to the president, and they were pressing him on the exit strategy. And again, he does not have one. He told them the same thing he said on Fox, that he'll just feel it in his bones when it's time to stop.
yeah,
And they're like, well, that doesn't help us. That
yeah.
doesn't clarify anything, and we're being affected by a decision you made. So you better figure it out.
I mean, just within the last couple of minutes, the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has defended his decision to not join the U.S.-Israeli offensive against Iran, saying he was not prepared to join a conflict without a plan to get us out. That is his quote, by the way.
Well, it's good to see, and we'll, if I may, paraphrase Conan O'Brien yesterday when he mentioned that there were no British actors nominated for any of the big categories, and he said, yes, there was something about, yes, in Britain we also indict our pedophiles. So there was, Britain's making some good moves. And
Yes.
if you're another world leader and everything was going along fine, you know how much planning it should take to
Right.
enter into any military action. And you don't do it without knowing why you're going in, how you're going to proceed, and how you're getting out. What's your end game? And
Right.
we do not have one.
No, we absolutely do not. And I mean, is it a little embarrassing to you that other world leaders of other major countries like the UK have to point this out to the rest of the world that there
I'm not
is no
embarrassed. I
plan?
didn't vote for him.
There you
I
go.
knew this was coming, and anybody with any brains knew this was coming. And now even some of his staunchest supporters are realizing that it was coming and that it has arrived. This is an unserious administration. They are not qualified to do the heavy lifting that is required to lead a nation,
Right.
not only of this size and import in the world, but any size.
Right.
I wouldn't vote for them to run my smallest rural village.
I do you think, I mean, during the first version of this Trump presidency, it was bad enough. But during the second version, I think it's been worse, mainly because at least during the first version, you did have some career government officials working in that administration.
Well, yeah, of course.
Where in this time, right, they basically admonished all of those people, did not bring any of those people into the fold, and just said, nope, we're going to go with the inner circle. We're going to go with the people the president trusts. And this is essentially what happens when you get those people that only the president trusts running things. When you have people who do not have the qualifications to be in the position that they're in. Looking at you, Pete Hegseth, and most of the administration. But if you don't have the qualifications, this is essentially what happens. When you're out there just cosplaying and pretending to play some sort of role, it turns out that there are real consequences that go along with playing that role, and war is a real thing. It's scary, and no matter how much you think that you've weakened the opponent, turns out that maybe you miscalculated just a little bit.
Yeah, and we are going to talk about the most
Yeah.
important thing that's going on today for people in Wisconsin, and that's the blizzard and the weather. So if you want to we want to know what it's like where you are, how much snow you got, how bad things are, or how you're riding the storm out. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. But going back to what you said, Jamie, they are unqualified, and yes, we did have a few other protections during the first administration. Now we have a guy in charge who's saying he might want to bomb something just for fun. And we have a defense head who is giving a no quarters, saying we will show no quarter to our enemies,
Right.
which is a war crime.
Yeah.
That's so we have people who just think they can say and do whatever they want.
Yep.
And we have a government that is allowing this to happen. And we'll see where we go. But no, I'm not embarrassed because I have nothing to do with it. And really none of us have anything to do with it. Even if you voted for Trump, you didn't I have to believe you didn't expect this because this is not what he campaigned on.
No.
And so really we can hang our heads as a country and go, listen, we're sorry. We didn't, this is not on us. But no, this is what you get.
Yeah.
And sometimes just like when you're raising a kid. Now, kids are more adaptable and I think more open to learning than our president is, but you have to show consequences.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the consequences of this are putting our men and women in harm's way.
Right.
They are jeopardizing our standing in the world, and they are hurting the very people that he swore an oath to protect. So,
yeah.
Anyway, it's snowing.
It is snowing, and I will say this, Parker and I can attest to the fact that if you are in Madison, visibility is really bad, even in town. We are talking probably less than 1/8 of a mile. So as you said to start out this segment, if you can stay home today, please do so. Let the emergency crews do what they need to do to make sure people who have to be out get where they need to be safely. But if you didn't catch it, on Saturday, Governor Evers did declare a state of emergency for Wisconsin because this is considered a record-breaking winter storm, and it's expected to last through most of today. Now, things are starting in the northern part of the state, Brian, to taper off just a little bit. So there's a blizzard warning in effect until 1 o'clock, moderate to heavy snow and strong winds gusting to 45 for portions of the state. Conditions are slowly improving north of that I-90 corridor and west of US 51, where there is now a winter weather advisory in effect, and that will stay in effect until about 10 o'clock this morning. So we're talking Adams, Juneau, Vernon, La Crosse, and Monroe counties. Additional snow accumulations there of about 1 to 3 inches. Wind gusts as high as 45, significant blowing, drifting snow. I think that's probably the worst of it right now. If it was just snowing, it would be bad enough, but those winds are brutal. In some areas, especially out in the country, visibility under a mile, as I was alluding to, but even in town, it's not great.
Parker's dad tried to get him to stay home today.
He did.
He did. He showed me the news.
Wow.
It's like, well,
You are
guess
the
where I'm
news,
going.
Parker.
You are an essential worker, Parker, and kudos to you for making it a young person with a work ethic, Jamie. Who'da thunk
love
it?
I
Who'da
love it. It's
thunk
good
it?
stuff. It's good stuff. It is 6:19 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martin.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Hey, a judge has blocked a subpoena against the Fed chair. What do you know about that? It's the Civic Media Network.
All right, we are clear.
Oh, my goodness. No, I just keep looking out this window, and I'm like, because the street lights are still on, so you can see how much snow is essentially still falling. I'm like, no, it's not getting any better. It's not. Nope.
No, we just got like a dusting, it looks like, because I could still see the color of the driveway. So that was good.
That port is not good. All right. Is that better? Am I on the right microphone? I can hear again. No, they dismantle everything, Parker. They literally dismantle the entire studio.
Why? Are they doing a dance party? What are they doing there?
I don't know. They used to mess up our lights and everything. So for a while, the lights in the studio were on a app-powered control switch. So it would be like a dance party in the studio, which was something.
How much money do they bring in?
I don't even know.
Is it worth it?
I don't even know. Mark from Prairie du Sac chiming in this morning saying Trump was a bully, has been a bully since he was a kid. He was sent to military academy because he was an incorrigible bully, and even at the academy, he bullied other students.
Yeah.
Yeah, his family has even talked about that. And if you're listening on the live stream, good morning. Glad you're safe.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're home somewhere nice and warm. Kids getting a snow day.
I wonder if they're getting snow days or if they're getting. Oh, that's a nice picture.
Oh, yeah. As you can see, it's snowy.
Wow, I can't see anything.
Should we start with Roger from Stevens Point? He's chiming in about the weather. Oh my gosh.
I'll let you make that pick.
We'll talk about that because we said everybody to.
We do
chime
want,
in and tell
we
us.
do want people to, we do want people to chime in about the weather.
So we'll read that.
All right.
All right, we got 15 seconds.
We'll make it quick.
Want to join in on the conversation? Call or text 855-75-CIVIC. Now back to Brian and Jamie.
6:22 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Roger from Stevens Point chiming in on the text line this morning saying much of central and northeast Wisconsin still under that blizzard warning until about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Yes, there's just a very select few of counties in the state that are watching things taper off early this morning. Close to 13 inches, he says, fell here, meaning in the Stevens Point area over the last 36 hours. We'll see about 2 to 3 more inches and 30-mile-per-hour breezes through the afternoon. Yep, that sounds pretty standard for what we're seeing across the area. So hopefully everybody, including Roger, is staying safe and warm today because I just love that the Department of Transportation for the state of Wisconsin is like, expect disruptions to your commute this morning. Just don't even bother.
Well, yeah,
if you don't have to.
they're also telling you, listen, do not leave.
If you don't have to, just stay home today because it is not great out there.
Time to go.
Yes, but we do have other news to talk about this morning.
Yes,
we'll be going back and forth with the weather as the
We
day
are going to be
progresses.
jumping back and forth. I also want to remind you, you have a little over a half hour to download the free Civic Media app if you want to be involved in the big multi-state text-to-win contest that starts at 7 o'clock. Daily cash winners, one big grand prize winner, but you have to have the app in order to enter, so it's free. You can listen to us. You can listen to everything on the Civic Network, all the stations, all the music. You can keep updated on the weather, all of that with the free Civic Media app. So get it wherever you get apps. You know where to get apps. I don't need to tell you that. You're not some imbecile. Even with the snow, you know how to do it. Parker is praying that
I
you
am
don't call in and go,
rejoicing.
"Hello,
I'm rejoicing
how do
in that
I get an app? I like cheese sticks." Anyway, yes, we do have news, and once again, the Department of Justice. You asked what I meant. You asked last segment if I was embarrassed or if we were embarrassed that other world leaders think we're dumb. No, I'm embarrassed that our own government is dumb. A federal judge in Washington, D.C. blocked the Justice Department's subpoenas targeting the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors as part of a criminal investigation into Fed Chair Jerome Powell. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg ruled the government produced, quote, essentially zero evidence, end quote, that Powell committed a crime. Of course he didn't commit a crime.
Right.
He didn't want to lower the rates that Trump wanted him to do, so Trump called him a criminal, and Jeanine Pirro put down her wine and decided she was going to issue subpoenas against he and the board. It's so ridiculously insane that it can only happen here in this timeline. It makes perfect sense that it's happening now.
No, you're absolutely right. And in this particular case, Judge Boasberg said that the evidence strongly suggests that the subpoenas were meant to pressure Powell to lower those interest rates or resign rather than investigate any sort of wrongdoing. Now, the Justice Department's probe focused on Powell's testimony to Congress about cost overruns related to a multi-billion-dollar renovation of the Federal Reserve's headquarters. Essentially, they used those because they thought that was the one point that they could get to stick in this particular in these particular charges. But let's be clear, telling the truth during a congressional testimony is only punishable if you're going to lie under oath, which Powell did not. Just because the president doesn't like what you said or he thinks that it makes him look bad, that's not a crime. That's not how any of this works.
Well, to him, it is. because it's funny. We got a text from Mark in Prairie du Sac saying that the president has always been a bully, blah blah, and that you can see that's a bully mentality. Whatever he thinks he can force you to do what he wants. Now he thinks he can force other countries to come clean up his mess in the Strait of Hormuz. He thinks if he threatens you or tries to get you indicted or he sues you, that everybody's going to back down. And guess what? When you're dealing with grown-up professionals who've been in this game a long time, they're not backing down at some empty threat because they have lawyers too. And their lawyers are probably, based on who you're sending in the DOJ, I could probably find a strip mall lawyer who could out-lawyer some of these DOJ folks now. No shade to strip mall lawyers.
No. And here's the other thing, too. When a judge looks at a case, reviews the evidence, and then follows the law, that doesn't make them some sort of activist, as Janine Pirro called Judge Boasberg.
I beg to differ.
That's a judge doing their job. And so courts are supposed to look at all the merits of the case and the law. And if the evidence isn't there, they're supposed to say so, which is exactly what happened in this particular case. But what's more troubling to me is the precedent that this is setting, Brian, because the Federal Reserve is an independent operation. It is supposed to avoid any sort of political pressure. So if a Fed chair has to worry about being investigated whenever the president maybe disagrees with him or her, that independence disappears, which is why the person who has been selected to run the Fed board after Powell steps down and his term is over is hand-selected by the president, which should actually scare most of us.
Even some Republicans are upset about this. And you're right. Well, listen, there's enough people that aren't scared enough. I know I know you don't want to be hysterical, and I know you don't want to have DTS, but we should all be a little scared. So some Republicans have said this threatens the independence of the Federal Reserve. Tom Tillis coming out strong over the last few issues. It's not helping.
Well, it's amazing what happens when you're not going to run again. You've decided to step down, and you don't care if the president is mad at you. It's
suddenly
amazing.
Your backbone just, where did I put that thing? Oh, yeah, I took it out because I was going to stay. So I'm going to put it back in because I'm leaving, and I don't want anything left in the office.
Right. He actually warned the DOJ against appealing this particular case, and he called the investigation weak and said that it could actually damage the credibility of the Justice Department. Here's the thing, though. If Tom Tillis thinks that this is the first thing that is going to ruin the credibility of the Justice Department, he obviously hasn't been paying attention because we've been going through a year of these types of cases.
He hasn't met Pam Bondi. He doesn't understand. This is now. I'm not an attorney, and this is if there is an attorney listening, and you would like to text this answer, and I would. This is in all seriousness. 855-75-CIVIC. Isn't there a penalty for filing like frivolous lawsuits? Doesn't that apply to the government too?
Yeah.
I don't know. So if you're a legal scholar, we have a lot of legal scholars who tune in. We're number one with legal scholars. Number two with people who don't even know how to spell law. So we cover all the bases here on Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
Do you think that these attorneys see these cases, these lawyers? I've got to get some time in my bag. Do you think that these judges see these cases come in and they're just like, what the hell?
Well, when you say you have essentially zero evidence, that should be right there. When a judge goes, you have no evidence to bring this subpoena, there should be some penalty for that. You're wasting the court's time. You're
also wasting taxpayer dollars, right? I mean, my goodness. No,
Pete Hegseth is dining on lobster tails and crab legs to the tune of millions of dollars. He doesn't care.
Trump's
Nobody
buying
cares.
his entire administration shoes that make them look like they're, going to a day at the circus to perform.
The giant shoes.
But you would think, though, for voters who got tired of the Biden administration overspending, right? This is where my mind starts to go because there were so many of them who were like, oh, we can't do this and wasting taxpayer dollars. Seriously? You've got Janine Pirro who hasn't made it past day one of any sort of court hearing yet before it gets thrown out, and you were worried about taxpayer funding. You're not a little concerned about that now.
There are no more fiscal conservatives. We are all.
It's ridiculous.
It's our, we're in charge. We're going to spend everything. We're leaving you with nothing. We're going to leave you with a
Right?
$1 trillion deficit. We're going to enjoy our time. Did you notice he didn't go to this honorable transfer for this
No.
latest service member who came home? He went to
No.
the one, got the picture, and now they're using it to fundraise. And it is
Yes.
disgusting.
So I was going through. So here's some of his comments that he's made since last night about Iran. He said now that Trump has said that the U.S. and Israel are largely aligned in their military goals. He acknowledged that their objectives may not be identical, though.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
He has said that the U.S. has had some positive response after reaching out to countries to whether or not they'd help secure the strait. He also said he could postpone a planned summit with his Chinese counterpart as he urges Beijing to help address disruptions on the strait. He has also doubled down on his criticism as of this morning of the media's coverage of the Iran war while speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One. And finally, he said he had not seen that fundraising email sent out by the Political Action Committee of just what you were talking about, his image from the transfer honoring fallen U.S. service. He hasn't seen it. It was just part of a different pack.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of horse.
So in the meantime, Keir Starmer, for anybody who's keeping up on, prices, has said that the UK has taken it upon themselves to work with allies to reopen the strait without providing any details because essentially the strait being closed is affecting all economies across the country, the world, not just the U.S. And Keir Starmer is concerned about rising prices in his home country, so he's actually trying to do something and pull allies together to fix this. Making sure he points out, though, that it's not necessarily it's not necessarily doing it to help the president. He's doing it to help other people who are innocent in all of this.
Yeah. Well, it's hard if you're a responsible leader of your country. It's hard to see your people suffer because of the actions of a madman.
Yeah. Wow.
Is that too much?
It's only
Is that
Monday
too hyperbolic?
morning. We're up to a bang-up start on a Monday morning.
It's a blizzard. They're getting a blizzard of opinions, a blizzard of hot takes to melt the snow. We're just coming at you. Both barrels.
You are in for a treat this morning. Whoa,
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show within the show.
Oh, look, the fruit truck is out delivering, though. That's good.
I wonder, if you're a small business, I wonder if it's. I know the margins for small businesses are very small, but to have to pay your people to come in on a day where.
Right.
And I hate to say people with sense aren't leaving the house, but you know what I mean. It's like if
10 seconds.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
6:35 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you're in Appleton and Oshkosh listening on WISS or in Wausau on WXCO or even in Eau Claire listening on 93.5 The Tap, we're glad that you're here. Hopefully you're safe and warm and avoiding being outside as much as possible as we watch more snow continue to fall, high winds across the state. And hey, if you want to tell us what it's like in your area, we'd love to hear from you this morning. 1-855-752-4842, 1-855-75-CIVIC. You can chime in about that or any of the conversations that we're having here on Daybreak, Brian, because there's a lot of conversations
A lot
happening.
to get to. Just one more quick reminder. Well, I'll remind you until 7. Download the free Civic Media app because at 7 o'clock we will tell you about our big multi-state text-to-win contest that starts today. Daily cash prizes, one giant grand prize. You need to enter using the Civic Media app, so go and download that wherever you get your apps. Did I mention it's free? Well, it's free, so that's good.
A lot of good
because
content for
you'll
free. I love it.
A lot, that is true. That is true. A lot of content
and
for
while you're
free.
doing that, you're not going anywhere today with the weather. So make sure you check us out on Facebook. We have a new page, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie. We're also on Instagram. We'd love for you to give us a follow and stay caught up on all the great stuff that we talk about here on the show and all the things that we go do when we're not on the show. Because
Yeah, I
want to
see.
for some of that too.
Did that get posted? Did your
I don't
pie
know.
video get posted?
That would be a question for Frank.
All right. Well, let us know in the show within the show. We don't know
All
because
right.
you did it, and
Yeah,
I'm supposed to
got-
have a video coming out too. So we're out doing stuff.
I did pie, you did whiskey. Hey, that's a good
Next time we
day.
have to combine those two, and that would be a
do.
much nicer afternoon than yesterday morning was when I was watching the Sunday morning shows because I'm a glutton for punishment. And Energy Secretary Chris Wright was on Meet the Press, and he said, "Listen, gas prices could drop below $3 a gallon by summer, depending how the war develops." And when he was pressed about that, he answered some other question and then blamed the Biden administration. And I'm not exaggerating or making a joke. They still love to blame the Biden administration. Well, Wright said Americans will likely feel the impact of higher gas prices for a few more weeks as the conflict continues to affect global oil prices. It could be 4 weeks, we don't know. And then again, they pressed him about the end game, and there was no answer. And then they press once, and they let everybody wiggle out, not just him. But this is it's very frustrating to hear our sufferings as Americans, whether it's groceries, oil, gas, whatever it is, treated so flippantly by the people in charge. It is truly a ruling class that is looking at us, and no matter who you voted for, you still we all buy gas at the same places.
Right.
We all buy our groceries at the same places. So we're all in this boat together, and the people who are supposed to oversee the boats and keep the boats level don't care what happens to us in the boats.
No, because obviously, as we've talked already this morning, if you've been with us since the beginning, one of the major issues right now is the Strait of Hormuz. That's that key shipping route. 20% of the world's oil passes through it. And obviously, Iran has threatened the waterway and ship traffic through the strait. It's largely been stopped at this point. Gas prices, oil prices keep climbing higher. The president is saying there's going to be very bad futures for countries who don't help reopen the strait. Well, Wright said that the strait isn't currently safe for ships, but reopening it is a major goal for the United States and its allies as the conflict continues, even though allies are like, no, you're kind of on your own here.
Yeah, major goal isn't his major goal is, hey, could you guys come and clean up my mess, please? Because I didn't think this through, I guess. Jared told me, and BB told me I should start this, and, I'm allegedly mentally incapacitated.
But here is what Wright had to say on Meet the Press yesterday morning. This is cut one, please.
Yeah, after the conflict is over, you'll start to see prices come back down. But the Iran immediately going to impede flow through the Straits of Hormuz, launching attacks at all of their neighbors, even those completely uninvolved in this conflict, just illustrates why it's so important to defang this regime. It's been the greatest supporter of terrorism in the world. The greatest killer of American soldiers over the last 20 years has been Iran, and we haven't fought a conflict against them until this. It's just this president did not want to kick this can down the road to the next administration. The world simply can't see a nuclear-armed Iran. And so I'm proud of his actions. But yes, it is a short-term disruption in the flow of energy. Americans are feeling it right now. Americans will feel it for a few more weeks. But at the end, we will have removed the greatest risk to global energy supplies. We'll go to a world more abundant in energy, more affordable in energy, and less risky for American soldiers and commerce in the Middle East.
I don't think it's going to work out the way you think it's going to work out.
No, it's not working out the way you think it's going to
Well,
work out. And
they
by
didn't
the way-
defang him.
No, not
the
yet.
regime is actually hunkered down. Well, according to the president, he's alive in some form.
Right.
The new supreme leader.
Right. He's been disfigured in some way, according to Pete
Maybe.
Hegseth. It's why he won't show his face on camera. Well, neither did the Ayatollah, who happened
No.
to be his father. And in this particular case, when obviously there is a regime change, they're not going to continue to put the man on camera. They're going to keep him as quiet as absolutely possible.
And
It's
does it-
how these regimes work, by the way.
Yes, and you're right, and they had a plan, and they're following their plan.
Yeah.
Does it bother you at all that Chris Wright and everybody else is admitting how surprised they were that Iran
Yes.
reacted the way they did? This
Absolutely.
is another dumb bully mentality where you think I'm going to punch this guy and nothing's going to happen to me. Boy, you are dumb. Especially, and I keep saying that, and I because it is really stupid. You didn't do the research. You didn't listen to the intelligence communities who said there was no imminent threat, and we've been listening to Iran and nuclear bombs for 37 years. They've been a month away from developing this weapon for 37 years, and it's never come.
No.
Were they evil? Yes. But if you're gonna go in and try to take down a regime, you got to have the plan, and you can't be surprised
Right.
that when you attack a country, they go crazy. Iran has never been a level-headed, logical place. So to go, well, they're going to act logically and just realize that we have the military capability to wipe them out. Yeah, but you know what? They've got the straight, and they're going to fight till the bitter end. And if you didn't know that, you haven't paid attention to anything.
And what's horrible is this administration doesn't care that these actions are affecting people throughout the country. It's not just them that are being affected. It is you and I every time we go to the store, every time we have to fill up our car.
Every person in this country.
Wright was actually asked about this. He was asked if he was confident if gas prices would be below $3 per gallon before the busy summer travel season. Here's his answer, cut 2, please.
There's a very good chance that'll be true. There's no guarantees in war. The time frame's still not entirely clear, but I think that's certainly a goal of the administration and very possible.
Now, it actually got worse, though, Brian, because he was also pressed, as you mentioned, on Iranian threats that the price of oil would reach $200 per barrel. This is what he had to say in counter to that. This is cut 3, please.
I would pay no attention to what Iran says, but there is a lot of energy that flows through the Straits of Hormuz. And depending upon the timing and the manner in which this conflict comes to an end, we're going to see some elevated pricing until we get there. Where it's going to go, we have done many actions to mitigate that price rise. You saw the announcement of a coordinated release of 400 million barrels of oil, with over 30 nations of the world participating in that. We've had allies in the Middle East that moved oil overseas before the conflict started. Heck, we just announced yesterday bringing on a meaningful amount of oil production in the state of California from offshore that California has fought foolishly to prevent new American oil to go into their own state. And we said enough is enough, and we've got new oil production coming on in California. So lots of actions we're taking to mitigate this price rise.
That's not enough.
No, I mean, let's be realistic. Gas prices have jumped since the war began. According to Gas Buddy, the national average was $2.94 per gallon on March 1st. It's now $3.70 per gallon as of Saturday. That doesn't feel like things are going down. The administration believes that once this conflict ends and shipping resumes, then energy supplies are just going to stabilize and prices are going to fall again. Right here on this program on Friday, we talked to AAA of Wisconsin, who basically said, yeah, but it takes a lot of time for that to happen. It's not overnight. So we're going to be dealing with this for a little bit, even if this conflict were to end today. It's not.
And I wish there were follow-up questions. This is my problem with a lot in the media where, they let him just gloss over the strategic oil release, which everybody says will last, 10 days, 12 days. if you do the math on how much oil, how many barrels of oil is consumed every day, not only in this country but around the world, the amount that they're releasing is nothing. It's like,
Right.
okay, it's not going to trickle down to you and I. You're still going to be paying more at the gas station. I find myself now trying to, and this is, I know, counterintuitive, but driving around trying to find the lowest price. And I'm like, oh no, now I've wasted. I always end up back at either Costco
Right.
or Sam's Club. They always have a little bit cheaper. But-
Here's the other problem. This war is not over, right?
No.
So we're going to continue
Well,
to see
is
the
it?
attacks.
I
we're
was
going to
told.
continue we're going to continue to see these attacks. In fact, over the weekend, U.S. forces struck a major hub for Iran's oil production, which is part of the ongoing military operations. Iran has warned that it could retaliate by targeting oil infrastructure in the region, which would then further affect the global energy markets. And it's just going to continue to go on and on. And in case you're wondering, here in the state of Wisconsin, according to AAA, the state average for regular gas is about $3.37 per gallon. That's up 40 cents in just 1 week. Current statewide averages for a regular tank of gas, $3.37 per gallon. For diesel, it's $4.63 per gallon. That's not helping my budget.
No, and I found it interesting, though, when we talked to AAA on Friday, that this is about where gas was at this time
Sure.
last year. The issue, and we already have talked about a number of times, that gas in Wisconsin normally goes up between now and Memorial Day. So we're not out of the realm of normalcy, so to speak, but the fact that it went up so much so
rapidly.
fast that's where the anomaly comes in, and that's why people are really paying attention. We pay attention when it goes up a nickel, when, over a couple months ago it was 20 cents cheaper, then we start to pay attention. But when it goes up that much, that fast, it's hard not to ignore it, and it's hard not to realize the connections of why you're suddenly paying more than before when it went up gradually. And yes, of course, everybody knows someday it might come down,
Right?
but you can't bank on that as the government.
No. Absolutely. Meanwhile, 5,000 additional U.S. Marines and sailors are being deployed to the Middle East as part of the military response. And here's the thing. I don't know if it's by patriotic duty to, feel like I should be paying more during a conflict that this administration started with no point. I don't know if I feel that patriotic.
Yeah,
It's
especially when the president is spending his off time still
Right.
golfing.
Yeah.
When even George Bush stopped golfing during the Iraq War.
6:48 right now. You're listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Yeah, there's more to come on the Civic Media Network. Dramatic pause.
Now watch me hit this drive.
No, it was like, listen, what good does it do me if I sit at home? I'm going to sit at home all weekend and worry. I got to put on my tidy whities and go out to the course. That's where I do my best thinking, because I could cover my head with another promotional hat and just go out in the sun.
Will Kid Rock be out there with him playing? Because he only plays his best golf if Kid Rock shows up.
I call him Bob, Jamie, because we're close like that. Bob likes to come down. He hangs in Mar-a-Lago. There's a couple Cuban staff members that Bob likes, allegedly. I don't care, as long as they're over, 14. I don't mind.
But Bob is saying about it's okay if they're not, by the way. Just
Listen.
want to point out for anybody who's confused this morning. Hey, thank you for listening on the live stream today. We do appreciate it. I mean, you obviously have nothing else to do if you're in the middle of Wisconsin in a blizzard. So we're glad that you hopped on.
I'd
to
be
check
sleeping.
it out.
If I didn't have to go to work
Right?
today and it was blizzardy, I'd sleep. Then I'd just open the door long enough for the dopey dogs to go outside, and then they'd realize it's a blizzard, and they'd come back in.
My dopey dog is going to have such a hard time this morning because her potty spot is just one big snow mound. So I hope Corey's prepared because
That's always the
yikes.
thing. You have to, like, I remember having to dig trails, and you got to dig
Yes.
like a trail and then dig out a spot, and they have to have their
Yes.
thing. And
My dopey dog still insists on going for a walk no matter how deep
Oh.
the snow is. She's just ridiculous. It won't
put
be
in-
a good enough
put in
spot.
Put in one of those like tetherball hoops and just let her walk in a circle like a pony at the circus. And just, here, fine. You want to go for a walk? God
Yes.
bless you. Go on out. We'll come out and get you. You just give a bark. We'll keep watching out the window. Give us a couple barks and we'll come get you.
Yesterday, have you ever seen those videos on social media of French bulldogs? Because French bulldogs have they have this very distinct like talk that they do where and I would never try to duplicate it, but watch them sometime online. Yesterday she was running around and they almost sound like they're screaming, French bulldogs. And Aspen has a really high-pitched howl. And yesterday I looked at her because she was watching the dogs walk outside after her walk and she was all excited. And I was like, did you watch too many of those videos? I said, what is your problem? I said, be quiet because it was
Just
just
stop.
ridiculous.
Would you shut up?
I was like, quiet. Nobody needs to hear you that much.
No, they've.
Au contraire.
And she's not a barker. She's really not. But when she does, she has no off button when she actually starts. Oh, the plows. There they go.
I was gonna say.
Hey, if you're on the live stream this morning and you want to chime in about your weather, please do
Yes,
so.
please
We'd
do.
love to hear what's going on in your area.
We got 15 seconds.
I mean, I can pretty much guess, but
10 seconds.
Well, every road is snow covered, according to TMJ News.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
6:52 right now. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. And hey, if you want to chime into the conversation this morning, maybe tell us what the weather is like in your area or, just give us your opinion on all the things we're going to be talking about.
How are you spending your blizzardy Monday?
752-4842, 1-855-75-CIVIC. What we should be doing is at home with our hockey chalky, as my kid used to call it when he was little. Hot chocolate, of course.
you're
Wrapped under a blanket watching movies. Well, you couldn't say hot chocolate when he's little.
No,
so
I
he
like
called
it.
Hockey
That's
chalky.
hockey
That was
chalky.
his word.
I want some hockey chalky. Nobody ever makes me hockey chalky anymore. Here's another question you could answer at the aforementioned number, 855-75-CIVIC. Should the World Cup be pulled from the U.S.? Well, especially
That's a big
since
question.
since we were told by the Tangerine Tyrant that the Iran team probably shouldn't play for their safety and their health. They probably shouldn't play. But a whole other, besides the FIFA Peace Prize winner declaring war and, allegedly our
You mean
government
the
bombing.
fake award?
But,
So he'd feel better. Okay.
Jamie, why do you have to tarnish it? He won the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize.
Okay. Nobody
Let's-
else will ever get that ever again, but it's fine. Or he'll win every single year. It's fine. But I digress. Go ahead.
Let's not. No. I don't know why you need to tarnish such a wonderful accomplishment. This was earned.
Sure. Yes.
Yes, it was earned. Well, he's not earning any praise from the World Anti-Doping Agency.
No.
They're considering a rule that could bar the president and other U.S. government officials from attending the 2028 Olympics. The only problem there is they're happening here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So our president and other government officials could be banned from going to the Olympics in their own country
Oh, that's so
because
embarrassing.
that would be hilarious.
So
That would
embarrassing.
it would be the funniest thing ever, and I would laugh nonstop because we decided we were going to stop paying our dues to the WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, and we owe them about $3.7 million from just for 2025 and another $3.6 million from 2024, and they're like, okay, that's cool. You don't want to pay? Well, you can't come. But it's here. Sorry, man. We control the tickets, and you are not going to be able to
Yeah.
come. So I think, and this could extend to the World Cup as well as the Olympics.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, should they just pull out at this point and go, listen, you want to be by yourself? We're going to leave you alone. We're going to let you all by yourself. And unfortunately, and it might not affect U.S. athletes because the government doesn't run our Olympics or our training centers and fund all that. So I don't want our athletes to suffer.
Right.
But I don't mind if
This
he and
feels a
Pete
little
and,
reminiscent of what happened in Russia, doesn't it? With their athletes
Yes.
and them, they're not able to participate now. Now, in their case, it's a little bit different because the government does run some of their facilities. So some of the athletes actually have to participate under that unified label, or they have to participate in other teams if those other countries see fit. So it's very strange. But this is, I mean, let's be realistic. This is, out of all of the stories that are coming out of this administration, this one feels the most apropos for this administration.
well, one,
it?
that they don't pay their debts. That's
Right.
on brand for Donald Trump. That's not an exaggeration. Look it up if you don't believe it. He has a history of not paying contractors and not paying his bills. And so I can see him go, well, I've never done dope, so I'm not, why would I pay some anti-doping association? I don't think dopes on dope should be competing anyway.
Right. No, the U.S. has withheld payments, they say, to protest how the WADA handled these doping cases, including the controversy that involved Chinese swimmers who tested positive but were then allowed to compete. The rule being discussed would actually penalize countries that refuse to pay their dues, potentially banning any government representative from attending major events like, I don't know, the Olympics, Paralympics, any sort of world championships. So that's how we get into this quagmire that we're now in. So if implemented, the rule would not only affect President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance, but it could also affect members of Congress who, normally attend these type of international sporting events. Some officials say the rule would be a little symbolic, though, and difficult to enforce, especially if the Olympics are held in the United States. I don't know. Just don't give him a ticket.
Yeah, sorry, sold out. But I'm the president. You might not recognize me because I'm not wearing my white golf apparel. I decided. Look how long my tie is. You know who I am.
I think it's interesting, though, that this dispute between the U.S. and the WADA has been ongoing for several years, which really, I think, also should tell us how far some of these concerns about how the agency handled Russia and Chinese doping scandals actually is. But, a decision on this rule could come later this year. Yeah. The final vote would likely be made by the WADA's governing board. But it does make you wonder who actually has the administration's ear, though, when it comes to policy decisions like this, especially things about doping. I mean, is it RFK? Is it whoever happens to be in the room that day? The president was just hanging out with Jake Paul in Kentucky, joking about endorsing him for whatever office he ever wants to run for. And now we have this WADA story. I mean, I'm just connecting some dots here this morning.
I know. Here's the thing that I'm starting. I've known this since the first administration, and I'm starting to wonder if this has fallen away. So at first there was a lot of trolling. We knew the president, everything he said couldn't have been true, maybe in the first administration. That's I don't think it's trolling anymore. I think he is really believing a lot of the things that's come out of his mouth. It's not just to try to get a reaction. He really thinks that. He really thinks Jake Paul should run for office. He did. Okay, all right. Listen, I don't know. Hey, you got a few seconds left. Get that Civic Media app downloaded because after the news, we're going to tell you all about the new contest. It's the Civic Media Network.
Civic Network.
All right.
I
was waiting to see if you were going to jump in.
I was watching time, and then I realized that I've got to look up because this clock on my computer down here doesn't give me the seconds, and it's about a minute behind.
Mine is right on the money.
Yes. So I was like, sorry.
That's all right.
We made it, though.
No big.
Right.
We're out.
I'm going to double check that this is Todd on the phone.
I think it's probably Tom, yeah. And then did we confirm Maddie? Is Maddie joining us yet this hour after Tom?
All right, we have got him.
Is it Tom or Todd?
Todd, I'm sorry.
We've
Todd.
got-
Okay,
we've got
because
Todd
we've
here.
got Todd. I've got Todd
Yeah,
on the,
nope, it's
on the
Todd,
thing. All right.
All right.
Good morning, Todd. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thanks.
Well,
Thanks
you
for being here.
joining us. How are
Yes.
how are conditions in Escanaba this morning?
Well, it's pretty windy and white out.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That sounds about right. We've got about 5 minutes till we come back here from break. And then we'll just
Oh,
keep you
okay.
for a couple of minutes. Nothing too long. We'll just talk about the conditions and what's going on up there and how people are faring. I know electricity in a lot of parts of Wisconsin has been an ongoing conversation the last couple of days. There were thousands of people who lost power on Friday because of the winds. So,
Yeah, we were fortunate that we haven't lost power yet,
oh, nice. Lucky
at
you.
least where I'm at.
Lucky you.
I don't think we really have any widespread power outages, in our area here, at least in Delta County.
That's good. We're going to do we'll do a little quick housekeeping to start this block. We have a 2-week-long texting contest that starts this morning. So we'll probably hit that really, really quickly and get people texting while they're listening, and then we'll jump into the conversation with you.
Very good.
So is everything just closed down, your studios and everything today?
Oh yeah, everything. Yeah, our office building. Yeah, they closed that down, but I think our morning show actually made it in because they live in town. But
Gotcha.
but everybody else, I think, yeah, I haven't actually left where I'm at since since yesterday because we tried to venture out yesterday morning.
You seem smart, Todd.
Yeah,
How about it?
well, I grew up with this, so
Yeah.
although this is kind of a record storm. I mean, in all my years, but
Yeah, this is pretty insane. Madison yesterday got the freezing rain and grapple and sleet beforehand. So underneath the inches of snow we're getting right now, there's about a half inch of snow as well.
oh, and
Or
that's even
ice,
worse.
I mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Looking at our comments coming in on social media there, Brian. Safe link of a scene from Idiocracy, which is continually coming more and more true, says John over on our YouTube.
John is correct.
You are correct, sir. Thank you for
That movie
commenting
was
this
funny
morning.
20 years ago. Now
Yes.
it's very, it's like, oh, wait, no, this was supposed to be satire. It wasn't supposed to be a precursor for our
Right?
everyday lives.
Right. Oh, my goodness. ChatGPT named our first hour Snowstorms and Global Shocks, a blizzard of opinions.
Wow.
Or blizzards, blunders, and blame games.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Wow.
It's very
A
exciting.
lot of alliteration on a Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Too much alliteration on a Monday. And I love alliteration.
Never. You can never have too much alliteration.
It's one of my favorites. Oh, my goodness. Well, look at them plow. Traffic down State Street is moving a little easier, at least.
Oh, yeah, they're going around that turn, actually. Okay.
Well, yeah,
That's a
'cause
horrible corner,
That's because the
too.
government is right there. That's what. Of course, that street's going to be plowed.
I can't see the Capitol from here because of all of the wind and the snow, but
No.
I know it's there somewhere on the horizon. That was the weirdest part coming down East Wash this morning, is you always see the Capitol,
'Cause it's
right?
directly in front of you for
you
miles.
get this amazing
Yeah.
view, and I love that view coming down East Wash every morning. And I was like, wow, I can't. It's gone. It's just not even there this morning. But of course, I couldn't even see one stoplight from the next. So
Yeah, it was a little scary when there was never a
Yeah.
light at all in front of you, and you were just going off what your headlights were giving you.
yeah,
It's like, oh god.
Yeah,
We've got
because
about
you always
40
know there's going to be
seconds here, Todd.
somebody panic braking in front of you.
Yeah. That was the only good thing. Was there was nobody there.
Well, yeah,
Well,
because
that's
it was
good
so
too,
early.
Yeah. I saw one plow. And I was
That's
like,
like that's either settling or unsettling in this kind of weather because you're like,
also
oh,
true. Should
yeah.
I really be here? All right. We've got 15 seconds here.
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 7:06
Wow.
right now.
Wow.
Thank you so much for
Parker.
joining us. Very nicely done, Parker. Yes, let it
In
snow.
case you didn't know, it's snowing, guys. I
It
don't know
is
if you
snowing.
noticed.
It is snowing. It is absolutely. We're going to talk weather here in just a moment, get an idea of what's happening around the region. But before we do that, Brian, it's officially time.
It is.
It is-
This is very exciting. It's
It
time
is.
for our multi-state text to win contest.
Day
Jamie,
one.
you love rules and guidelines, so I will let you explain
do.
it so I don't screw it up. But I did say multi-state, so
You
I'm
did
doing well.
absolutely. And this one's pretty easy. You're going to have multiple chances to win over the next couple of weeks and to actually get qualified for some really great prizes. You have to enter using your Civic Media app. So
We've told you.
we've told you, we've tried to warn you. However, if you don't have it downloaded yet, now is your chance. You can get that for free at your Apple or your Google store because you have to enter through the app. And here's the cool thing: over the next 10 days, we're going to be giving away a daily prize of $200 in cash.
Nice.
And you're going to also be entered to win our grand prize, which is a new mattress set from Verlo, a $1,300 value. You're going to
Very
get
nice.
a queen plush media mattress, the queen tensile sheets, a mattress protector, and some active dough pillows, 2 of them queen size, to go along with your new mattress if
Wow.
you're a grand prize winner. So, without further ado, Brian, I will let you have the honors of giving today's first word. Again, use your app.
Right, and it's the first word. Jamie makes a key point there because the word changes every couple of hours.
Yes,
So
yes.
this is the word that you can enter with until 9 o'clock. Then the word
8
will
o'clock.
change. But the 8 o'clock.
Until
Oh, it's
8
yes. You
o'clock.
only do it
You
for
have
an
one
hour.
You have 1 hour.
Then there'll be
Yes.
a new. Then there will be a new word at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
But
yes.
for this hour, text the word early. EARLY. Early is the word. Use the Civic Media app. Text the word early, EARLY, and you will be entered for a chance to win today's prize, which is $200, and for the grand prize. And it is a multi-state text-to-win contest.
Yes.
Speaking of multi-states, Jamie, we do cover,
Yes.
Civic Media covers Minnesota, covers Michigan, covers Wisconsin. People are listening globally and entering this text-to-win contest from perhaps, somewhere in the Middle East when they're not dodging bombs. They're entering this. But 2/3 of Wisconsin is still under a blizzard warning until 4
Yes.
o'clock this afternoon. Civic Media reaches in to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and in Escanaba, that's where we find Todd Moore. He's the president and owner of Aurora Media in Escanaba, Michigan. He joins us now to talk about how things are going in the UP. Todd, thanks for being here this morning. I guess we'll just start out with how bad are things in the UP?
Well, it's pretty much white out still. Winds have picked up since yesterday, so can't go anywhere. Everything's closed down.
How much snow do you guys have in your area, Todd?
Well, it looks pretty close to about 2.5 feet.
Wow.
If
I'm
pe-
going.
Oh, go ahead, Jamie.
I was just going to say, I'm going to say with 2.5 feet of snow, I'm going to assume that with the winds, because you do have winds up there, that's creating quite some drifts, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and once the roads get plowed, then they drift over in a short amount of time. So then you got to get back out and replow them again.
Now,
So yeah, it's impossible to move.
I've been to Escanaba a few times. It's a very nice place, but a little bit remote. I know you guys are used to this kind of weather in the winter. This is nothing new. How long does it usually take in a snowfall of this magnitude to get things up and running again? Because I'm assuming schools and everything are closed today. A lot of businesses probably closed. How long until things get, quote unquote, back to normal in Escanaba?
Well, with a storm like this, I would say it would probably be a couple of days. But we're in what's called the banana belt where we're at. So we normally don't get like this much snow because that's normally to the north of us, closer to the Superior Shore. But no, this will probably take us a good couple of days to, actually get, fully functional.
And I'm going to go back to something you just said, Todd. What does exactly the banana belt of Escanaba mean for people who aren't familiar with the area as far as your weather goes?
So the banana belt is an area in the southern UP that basically stretches from about Schoolcraft County into, I'd say, Dickinson County, where the weather conditions for here, especially in the winter, you get less snow and precipitation here. So I don't know if that's because it's warmer, because it's basically on Lake Michigan. So we don't get as much snow as they do to the north of us in the typical, UP, in the typical UP fashion. So, but we get system storms like this, and then, we get buried.
Wow.
So, well, a couple days, everything's closed. As with the radio station, we gotta ask for our brothers and sisters in sound. Are you guys all remote? Are your people coming in? What's going on with Aurora Media?
So we do have live people in studio. Depends on the day part, but generally we do have live people in the studio, especially in the morning. But then generally,
did they
throughout
make
the
it
day,
today?
we're on. Yeah, I checked, and yeah, we're on.
There you go. That's hazard pay, Todd. They're going to be hitting you up for a little more dough.
Oh man, yeah, don't let them know.
Well, Todd, we appreciate your time very much. We want you to stay safe. You've got some power. You said that you were surprised you still had power. We were talking to you before we went on the air. So hopefully that trend continues and everybody in Escanaba digs out and stays safe over the next couple of days here. This is the generational snowstorm is what we're calling it, Brian. But this is incredible.
I'm wondering how many busloads of seniors are stranded at the Islands Casino, because I've worked at Islands Casino a number of times, and they have bus tours, and that place is always packed with busloads of folks. Not a bad place to get stranded, I guess.
I was going to say, I don't know if you've got buffets and you could just, stay at a motel and go down to the slots at the tables.
Well, I'm sure the casino owners are like, fantastic.
Absolutely. Parker, let's bring Maddie Schaefer in as well here. Maddie is our reporter at WBZH in Hayward. She's going to give us a little update on what's happening in the northern part of the state. So good morning, Maddie. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We are good. I'm surprised the snowshoes are still on the wall and not on your feet.
Yeah,
you're not leaving
those
the
are
house
the
today?
antiques.
Oh, okay.
I
well,
mean,
that's
if I did, I would be taking those for sure.
what's the situation? How bad are things in Hayward?
I'd say we haven't gotten more than a foot. Things were pretty windy yesterday and the day before, but today it seems like it's a bit more calm. But I wouldn't say it's as bad as I've seen it. I've lived here my whole life, so I think it could have been worse. But the roads are pretty messy. I won't lie about that, because I live right next to one of the county highways, and I think the plows are putting their work in.
Well, you guys are technically out of the blizzard warning. It's moved to the east, so that's
Yep.
got to be good news. But what is it like with closures and things still in the area? Because you're under the hazardous weather outlook at this point.
Yep, I think around noon yesterday, all of the schools decided to close today. I've seen a couple businesses, but not many of them have closed. But all of the schools that I've seen within the county surrounding areas, they've closed for today.
Now, you mentioned living in the area most of your life, Maddie. I'm going to ask you the same thing we asked Todd. How long does it usually take the Hayward area? Because you guys love your winter weather, right? Because you guys love snowmobiling, you love the skiing, all of that. But how long does it traditionally take that area to clean up after a storm like this?
I'd say maybe a day or two. One day they'll clean up, and it might be a little messy the next day, but by day two, it's usually in better shape, especially if we get warmer weather and things start to melt. But we'll see. The roads are pretty packed right now with snow, so we'll see how many days it'll take.
Besides the schools, how were the businesses affected? Were there a lot of closures for today in that area too?
I don't think so. I saw only a few in town, but it seems like everything, restaurants and stores seem to be open for the most part.
Well, they're
Good
hardy
deal.
folk up there, Brian.
I know. Listen, that's the
they're
thing.
used to
But
this.
even people who
Yeah.
are used to these kind of storms, blizzard is a whole different thing. Because it's the snow. Everybody in those areas, they've got the equipment. The towns are ready to clean up. But it's when the winds and everything combines to create a blizzard that it's like, oh no, this is not going as well as we hoped.
Did you guys get that wind on Friday, Maddie, as the first round of the storm came through and we had those gusts? Because I know a lot of people in the northern part of the state, there were a lot of power outages before this storm, even before the snow portion of the storm. So were you guys affected by those winds on Friday?
I don't think so. I don't think it really started till late Saturday night is when, the snow started falling and when we got heavy winds. I'd say it was regular winds for the north woods, but everything started to seem to unfold Saturday night and early Sunday morning. So,
And what's the outlook for the rest of for today and tomorrow? About the same?
yeah. I mean, I don't think we're gonna get any snow. It's not snowing now, and the wind seems to have died down. So we might be in the calm now.
All right.
Very nice.
Hopefully that starts trickling this way because Madison is not right now.
Yeah. I know the people more northeast seem to got hit really hard. So I feel like we lucked out right in the Northwoods. We lucked out a little bit this time.
Well, there you go. But you still got enough to keep everything active up there for all the winter enthusiasts. Maddie, always good to talk to you. Thanks for jumping on this morning. We appreciate it. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Yep, Hayward is under
goodness.
that hazardous weather outlook. And, still some blowing snow continuing today. Another round of snow coming Tuesday afternoon for that area. And accumulations of another 1 to 3 inches for the Hayward area. But,
and I want to make sure too for folks in Madison, if in this general area in the southern part of the state, we did get some freezing rain yesterday, some graupel, some sleet. So underneath the snow that is falling right now, we do have ice. So as you're out and about this morning, please keep that in mind and slow down. Give yourself some extra time. If you are somebody who doesn't have the luxury of staying home today, working or being at home with the kids, just make sure that you're taking some extra time because those winds are brutal. The visibility is low this morning, and then you've got the ice underneath. So it's definitely making a difference out there, Brian.
Yeah, and about 2/3 of the state still under that blizzard warning until 4 o'clock this afternoon. And it's just, it's moving. The system is moving, and then it's going to get cold. But cold we can deal with. Blizzards are another thing. And again, the National Weather Service and the Wisconsin Department of Transportation urging you to be careful if you do have to leave. Travel should be restricted to emergencies only. And they say if you must travel, have a winter survival kit with you. So if you get stranded, stay with your car. And you can always call 511 to get the latest road conditions.
Check those roads because there are some road closures in the east and northern part of the state, up in the Appleton, Oshkosh area and beyond.
Stop playing that
7:19 right now. You're listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
Swapper Stay is next. I'm Brian Noonan on the Civic Media Network. Did I say Swapper Stay?
You said Swappers Day, yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Hey, we had a good first round of entries. We get to do this
We sure
for a
did.
whole hour.
We sure did. A lot of greens and
greens.
oranges, so not all browns, which is nice.
Everybody listening on the live stream is like, what are they talking about?
We've color coded you.
Yeah,
We've
no.
collected your data, and we're selling your Bailey. You're selling your info. No, we're not. We're not selling your.
We're not
You're
selling
not.
your
No,
data
we're
at
not
all.
selling any of your data.
Promise.
We just there's colors to see. Like some people text a lot,
Yes.
and some people are new to texting us, and that's very cool.
And so
And
we've
it's good
color
to see
coded it
who's
like
new.
trees is what we've
Yes.
done, from new to all the way to brown, meaning you text us a lot and we are appreciative of all of you. So thank
Of
you.
course.
And we will continue to give that keyword throughout the hour. So if you missed it, you can keep texting in to win. $200 in cash though, every day.
That would be
Monday through
nice.
Friday for the next 2 weeks.
Can I win cash?
No,
You
you're not
cannot.
allowed.
But what
Now,
if
if you had
text the
taken a
number?
sick day and then gotten fired, you could. But since
You
you
would no
came
longer
into
be an
work and you are
employee.
still an employee, you're here. If you had listened to your father,
You'd be maybe $200 richer.
Boy, would that have been worth it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, what if I win every day though? Like that could be.
You can't.
Oh,
See.
Cannot win every day.
what
Good
about the grand prize?
try.
I could
Please
get the
look
grand
up
prize.
general contesting rules.
Hmm.
We do have general contesting rules over on our website if anybody ever wants to check them out. Civicmedia.us, by the way, for anybody listening on the live stream.
Nobody ever does.
No,
They
I
just
know.
call in
I know.
and ask a question.
I don't know. There's some probably people out there as nerdy as I am who are like, I'd like to read those
Mhm.
rules. I've never even read the rules.
Especially the
but-
people who don't win. They're getting rigged.
Right.
Yeah, how
Rigged
didn't I win
system.
this? Can I
Rigged.
sue them over this?
Probably. I texted every day. They told me if I texted, I would win. No, we
That's
didn't.
right.
You're entered to win.
You
have
are
a
entered
chance
to
to
win.
win. You're
All right. We got
gambling.
15 seconds here till we're back.
Stop it.
Let's break out of the bubble and see what's happening out there in pop culture. It's Swipe or Stay on Daybreak.
7:22 right now. We hope that you are having a great Monday morning, staying safe with the weather as well. You are listening to Daybreak, and it's time where we get to not talk about politics for a little bit. Our producer, Frank, is going to join us. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm nice and cozy inside, so
Are you ready to
You're
swipe and or stay?
I am ready to swipe
Okay.
and or stay. Hopefully we stay because I think we've got some good ones.
Ooh, we're
Don't try
excited.
to influence the panel.
I'm just saying.
That's
All right.
tampering, Frank.
Yeah.
No, I'm building.
I'm looking up the official swipe or stay rules.
There
Tampering is not
aren't
allowed.
any.
Oh.
I've got
I
them
was just going to
down.
say, do we actually
I
have
am
rules?
judge. I am jury. I am executioner.
Wow.
Wow.
I know.
Kill this
well-
bit.
Well, I feel like I want to give the right answer now.
I think you should.
I feel
Okay.
no pressure. Go ahead.
Swipe or stay. I'm going to give some vague pop culture headlines. Brian and Jamie will have to decide whether they want to stay on the story or swipe on to the next one. In the event of a tie, Parker will be our tiebreaker as always. Let's move on to story number one. So, leaked audio reveals celebrity Hollywood smear campaign.
Ooh. I think
Ooh.
I know this. I'm going to stay.
I love intrigue. I'm staying.
I'm glad we're staying on this one because I woke up. Let me tell you something. I had to look up because I saw it over the weekend. I had to look at like multiple different entertainment news websites because I could not believe the headline.
Wow.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
Spill.
So
Yeah, tell us.
we have leaked audio from Rebel Wilson, the actress, her PR team, discussing how they're going to drag a producer's name through the mud.
Oh.
Rebel Wilson's crisis public relations team discussed plans to create anonymous websites that accuse the producer of The Deb of sex trafficking as part of an alleged smear campaign solicited by Rebel Wilson. We have the audio.
So basically what we need to do is we need to create a path where we expose Amanda Ghost as like the new Heidi Fleiss. Like she masquerades as the reason why she sucks so bad at music is because she's actually getting hookers for Vlatnik, right? And that's what she does. She's an absolute madam, and that's why she's so lethal. Blah blah blah.
Oh my God.
This was an official meeting.
And none of this is true, correct? This is all alleged?
No, this is all fabricated.
All fabricated.
Because he goes
Okay.
on to say we
Wow.
can't just say something like she's mean or she's evil. We have to go farther. We have to do something heavier.
Do we know why they're targeting this woman?
I'm not sure on the specifics of why. I was more focused on the fact
No, I
that
get, I get
Yeah.
it. I get it.
happens.
Well,
Wow.
Rebel Wilson has fallen off the radar, so I guess we got to get her back
Yeah.
on the radar somehow.
So she's denied any involvement in the creation of the smear campaign.
Is that right? Okay, good for her.
So Camille Vasquez, if you remember the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, Camille
Yeah.
Vasquez was in the media because she was a big
Yep.
part of it for Johnny Depp's defense team. So she's representing the producer that's being accused. She said, "We have long suspected that Rebel Wilson not only contributed to the malicious sites, but that she was the driving force behind them. The evidence we have submitted
Wow.
to the court in California supports that conclusion." Cannot wait for
Whoa.
updates on this one. You
Oh.
kind of
I'm
you
glad
always
we
put on your
stayed.
tinfoil
Me
hat
too.
and are like, you know that this probably
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
They have
Yeah.
actual audio confirming that this stuff goes on in
Oh,
Hollywood. It's
man.
insane to me.
That is
Yeah,
insane.
It's
Wow.
a nasty business.
Oh my
See, Brian, I
goodness.
told you we had good stuff today.
You're one for
That is
one. All right,
juicy.
let's
All right,
let's
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 go.
go. Here we go.
A politician's security guard gunned down by police officers.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know
I'm
this
staying.
one. Stay.
I don't know
yeah.
this one. I'm staying.
Yeah, this is scary.
A member of Jasmine Crockett's congressional security detail was gunned down this weekend during a standoff with police officers in Texas. So Mike King ran inside a hospital parking garage and then barricaded himself inside a vehicle while being pursued by SWAT officers. They tear gassed King, prompting him to jump out of the vehicle and pull a gun before he was shot by the police. Law enforcement sources say that King was wanted for impersonating law enforcement while running a platform online, Off-Duty Police Services, which finds off-duty gigs for North Texas cops.
Wait, so how did he get on Jasmine Crockett's security detail then? I have a lot of questions.
That's
Your
great.
stories are very good,
It's
but I need
there's
I
more
need
questions.
There's so many questions.
I need Harvey Levin
Right.
on this
right.
with his big cup. All right, wow,
Wow,
2 for 2,
okay.
Frank. All
All
right,
right,
let's
that's
go.
I
another good
told you
one.
it's wild, and we're still
Wow,
waiting on
okay.
details for both of these stories. We just
Okay.
have to.
All right, I got
All
it.
right, man. Comedian's tour bus burns down.
Oh.
Ryan, does this hit home?
This is quite.
No, I just
Stay.
everybody.
I'm gonna
Yeah, what
stay.
the heck? Let's stay.
So the comedian Burt Kreischer, also known as The Machine, had some travel issues this past weekend in North Dakota, of all places, Jamie.
Wow. Did they burn it
Okay.
on purpose?
One of his
Yeah.
tires blew out and tore off the rim. So the bus pulled over along the highway during a snowstorm. The group waited a couple hours to arrange a replacement tire. None could be delivered overnight, so Kreischer and other people on the bus continued to Cedar Rapids on 2 separate buses. The disabled bus and the driver stayed behind waiting for help. At 11 a.m. yesterday, the driver was sitting inside the bus waiting for the tire delivery. He heard a loud popping sound coming from the front roof area. Within seconds, the vehicle was filled with smoke and completely
gosh.
burned down. And they don't
Whoa.
know exactly why.
I just love
Holy
how glamorous
cow.
his life is. North Dakota to Cedar Rapids. Ooh.
Listen, for the money he's pulling in at these arena
know.
shows, I'm sure his bus is high end.
Man, we
Wow.
went 3 for 3, guys. I can't
I
even
like
go
it.
on to the next one because I'm getting the countdown from
No,
Park.
we got to go. That was
Hey.
stellar
That was some
job.
Good stuff today.
Yeah.
Wow. It is 7:29 right now. Another edition of Swipe or Stay. Always one of our favorite parts of the morning. Thank you so much, Frank. You are listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Hey, states are suing Trump again. Shocker. What about this time? We'll find out next on the Civic Media Network.
Wow.
Okay,
Frank.
so what was number 4?
Bringing heat.
Because the
What do you
three of them
mean?
were so good.
Bring it
With
tomorrow.
the fourth-
Whoa.
Yeah,
no,
leave-
this is for
We're
tomorrow.
saying,
He's
whoa,
got
that's
ammo for
less work to
tomorrow.
do tomorrow. We're saving.
Yeah, no, we're
What?
saving. The only guy, this was way back before there were a lot of guys going on tours and buses. I worked with Pauly Shore in Macon, Georgia. And that's right, I'm bragging. No,
Name?
he came,
Pauly
I was there
Shore.
for the week, and he was just there on one night, you know. And first of all, Pauly Shore was he was a bag with a D in front of it. He was,
Oh, wow. That
this was back
not
in
a surprise whatsoever.
Wheeze days. And first of all, so he pulls up in this strip mall at the strip mall comedy club in Macon, Georgia, and comes in, and he had all this stuff in his rider that they had put in the green room for him, and he didn't touch any of it. Stayed on the bus. But what saddened me about the state of our nation after this show, where it was just horrible, you know, he was Pauly Shore. But anyway, the amount of women that lined up to try to get on that bus with him
Oh, I'm sure.
made
Really?
me so sad. I was like,
Pauly
oh
Shore?
no, Pauly Shore,
The star of
MTV,
Son-in-Law?
the Wheeze.
The Wheeze,
Yes,
yeah.
Biodome. They wanted to get on and snug with the Wheeze on the bus. I didn't get to go on the bus. Paulie didn't invite me on the bus.
It's probably good.
Yeah, I don't want to get
Who
wheezed.
knows
I
what we'll
don't
do?
want to get snugged on the,
I
on the
mean,
Wheeze.
let's be
by the Wheeze.
realistic. Biodome and Son-in-Law were not like, you know,
They did-
Oscar-winning movies.
No, but they did pretty well when they
They
came
were
out.
called
He
classics,
was
though.
he was
Called
very
classics,
popular.
though.
Yeah, he was very popular. But
John chiming in over on YouTube. Bert was just in Oshkosh for a show, a real who's who of tour stops.
hey, man, that's where the audiences are. You're
I-
never going to get me mocking a guy for
Oh, I
going to
know.
Oshkosh.
You know what? I was just about to say that, Brian.
Yeah.
You
Uh-uh.
got to give, Bert's pretty criticized in the comedy world. A lot of people say he's not funny, but you got to give it to him. He does work his ass off.
He does work
Yeah.
his ass
No,
off.
he
He
does.
employs a lot of other comics. He
Yeah.
takes care of his people. You don't have comedy's subjective. You don't have to think he's funny, but I'm never gonna bash a guy for going on tour, because anybody who look at these little towns he's going to, dude, he is raking in the coin.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
raking it in. And he's got a new show on Netflix.
Yeah.
And he's got,
I just kind of feel bad for him, honestly, being in North Dakota and going to Cedar Rapids on a weekend, because I know how hard it probably was for them to get what they needed for parts for that bus.
Well, the
'Cause
thing,
everything
yeah.
shuts down in those
Right.
towns on the
But you can't
weekends, so
fly to
that-
these places.
No, 'cause there's
so
no
having
airport.
you fly into a major city, your buses are there,
Right?
and just that's the logistics of a tour
Yeah.
on the same level as some bands. You're flying in, you're taking your bus to all the smaller venues, and then you get on a bus in another big city and you fly home.
I will also say about Bert, one of my friends that I used to work with who co-hosted a morning show in Toledo said Bert was her favorite person to ever come in for an interview, because they did the interview at like 10 in the morning and he had a show later that night in Toledo. And after the segment was over, I think it was a pre-record, and he goes, all right, so you guys want to like hang out? She's like,
That seems right.
she's like, well, I'm at work. Like, I still have stuff to do. Like, you can hang out here if you want. He goes, do you want to just like, do you want to go to the store and get a case of beer and like hang out? And he did.
Right.
They went and got a case of beer, and they just popped some beers all day and hung out until
Cool.
he was ready for his show.
That's
Nice.
I
awesome.
love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched enough of his stuff to have a judgment on him.
He's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I know the shirt off thing. I know that's his thing,
His
and he
one-
drinks
his
a lot,
joke.
and he's a machine, and that's. But again, I have no problem with him being in Oshkosh and Cedar Rapids, and that's where the people are.
Well, and if you're going to, I mean, and they have some great venues in Oshkosh
Yeah.
and Cedar Rapids
And I
for
think there's a
shows
new
like
one
that.
up there too.
And
Yeah.
you start working these theaters or small arenas, it's a great way to go. It beats
We got
driving all over the country to these little comedy clubs or bowling alleys or strip joints or wherever
a couple seconds.
wherever the hell I worked.
All facts, no fiction. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:35 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. If you're in Richland Center, listening on WRCE, or in La Crosse on WLCX, or even in Wisconsin Rapids on WFHR, thank you so much for being here today. And just a little housekeeping this morning, Brian. Quick reminder that at 8 o'clock, if you are listening on WMDX in Madison, you are going to be going to the Stephanie Miller Show. Anybody else gets to stay with us here on Daybreak. And couple reasons then why you should probably go get your Civic Media app, which means you can stay with us if you want by listening on the app, or right now you actually have a chance to qualify for some really great prizes in our first day of a brand new Text to Win contest. That's right. Use your Civic Media app, text us a word, and I don't know, $200 in cash as a daily prize, or a mattress set from Verlo, a $1,300 value. Not bad. So, Brian, how should people enter?
Well, it's easy. The word for this hour is early, EARLY, early. And if you text that word in, you will be entered to win. It's a multi-state text-to-win contest. All the Civic Media stations are participating, but you have a chance to win, as Jamie said, $200 a day, and then you are entered for a chance to win the grand prize, over $1,300 for a new mattress set from Verlo. The word for this hour, again, is early, EARLY, early. Just like, man, it's way too early to be trying to win a contest, but no, it's not. Winning is always the best. So there you go, and be paying attention to your favorite Civic station throughout the day. The words will change. You will get another chance to win, so stick with us, and we'll do this every day for 2 weeks.
We
Two
will.
whole
We will.
weeks.
Yes, and we're so glad that you're entering to win. Lots of you trying this morning, so we're glad to see that. Also, a little reminder that not only should you get that app, you should also go follow us on social media over on our Facebook page, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie. We're also on Instagram now as well. So lots of ways for you to keep connected, not just listening to the radio, but the news. The news does continue, Brian.
It does continue, even though it's early, EARLY.
Ooh, I like how you slipped
You
that
like
in
that?
there.
That was,
Very
thank
nicely
you.
done.
Oh boy, sometimes I know what I'm doing, or I at least appear to know what I'm doing.
Well,
hey,
it
guess
seemed
what?
to work. Look at the people
It did.
texting.
Look, bang, bang, bang. Good luck to everybody who's entering. So once again, Wisconsin is involved in a multi-state lawsuit against the Trump administration. New day, new lawsuit. New lawsuit, who dis? Well, this one is over a federal rule requiring colleges to report detailed admissions data on individual students. This is unbelievable overreach. The rule would require schools to report information including race, gender, test scores, financial aid, and admissions decision through a new system called the Admissions and Consumer Transparency Supplement, the ACTS. Why would we need something like this? Because if we have, and if you or your children have federal student loans, they already have all your information. Mm-hmm. Your information's there. And who cares what my test scores were to get it? Why does the federal government need to know my test scores or my and they already know our race and gender because we have social security numbers and we have birth certificates and all that stuff.
Right.
Weird.
And the reporting requirement expands an existing federal database called the Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System, the IPEDS, which has collected higher education data like
horrible
enrollment.
acronym for this
It's a
administration.
horrible
acronym. iPads? Oh, you are? Well, come over here. We need to talk to you for a little bit. All right.
It has collected higher education data like enrollment, graduation rates, and financial aid for about 40 years. Now, this administration says that the new data is needed to ensure colleges are following the 2023 Supreme Court ruling that banned race-based admissions. President Trump previously, though, directed the Department of Education to use IPEDS data to monitor whether colleges are still considering race in admissions decisions.
Stop it.
This administration, this is not about transparency and making sure colleges are following Supreme Court rulings. Let's be honest for a minute. This administration...
No, I don't want it hurts too much.
This administration has a pattern that we've been seeing for quite some time now. Early on, they made it clear that they wanted to roll back diversity, equality, and inclusion policies on college campuses all across the country. So we've watched schools be pressured into eliminating all of these DEI programs. Diversity offices have shut down, policies have been rewritten, and this is the latest move that they are trying to implement. So this is not exactly surprising that we're seeing this play out, at least not to me. I guess if you're shocked by this, you haven't been paying attention to some of the programs that this Department of Education has been rolling back and has been taking away from not only universities and colleges, but also from businesses, saying that businesses don't need to adhere to these things as well. This is not shocking.
No, it's not shocking, and it is part of this whole anti-woke, anti-DEI, and it's they forget why these programs have to exist in the first place. Not only for race, but for gender. And if you are naive enough to think that none of those problems still exist, you're not paying attention, or most likely you're not part of an affected group. Like, I'm an older white guy. I pretty much get to do whatever I want. I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and daughter, well, Jamie, you were in that group. Maybe not so much. They're not making a lot of laws that really restrict me. I can probably find a job if I'm a white guy. But a lot of disgruntled white guys who couldn't find jobs got very angry because they perceived that people of color or women, God forbid, a woman of color, would get a job over them. Doesn't matter if they're qualified or not. The fact that there was a quota.
Mm-hmm.
That's what upset them. Well, was I even considered? Yeah, you were considered. And we went with this person because we want to have, I don't know, a variety of opinions, a variety of backgrounds, to make our business a little more well-rounded and a little more effective in the marketplace, because a conference room full of old white guys is not going to be able to really relate to anybody else in the world except other old white guys.
I'm just trying to figure out the ego that has to be so fragile that it can't accept these rules. Like that's where my mind always goes. Like, you have to be very not confident in your own abilities, or you have to really think that you were not a good hire, or that you were actually not hired because of these rules, in order to think that these are not good.
Well, I think it's an inflated self-importance. I was the best. Why did they get this over me? It has to be the only way I could have lost out on this job is because some government program said that woman had to get hired, or that Hispanic person had to get hired, or that black person had to get. It couldn't be because
Maybe you're
might
just not qualified.
Right. Well, Jamie, that's not happening. That is not happening at all.
Maybe you just weren't as qualified.
No.
Who knows?
Nah.
But
Impossible.
This 17-state coalition is being led by Massachusetts, and they are arguing that this new rule threatens student privacy and places major reporting burdens on colleges and universities. In fact, Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul said that the administration rushed this policy forward to push an ideological agenda without really fully considering any sort of privacy risks or the difficulty schools will face collecting this data. This administration be in a hurry to push something through?
Without thinking it through all the way? Surprised they don't just drop bombs on universities too. It's we didn't realize that wasn't cool.
Right? So this lawsuit also claims the rule would turn a long-standing statistical reporting system into a tool for law enforcement and political enforcement of admission policies. Yes. Now, colleges were expected to start reporting this new data this year, with the first submissions due March 18th. Well, chop, chop. You only got a couple of days. That gave schools only months to gather the information that may take years to properly compile.
Does it sound like Doge to you?
It sounds a little like Doge, and does it sound like there is a specific student in mind that this administration might be targeting just a little bit to get that information about?
I think so. I would imagine perhaps they are they bear a resemblance to maybe people that we're at war with now, or they come from that area, or they worship differently, or perhaps they are descended from a country and a people that are at odds with one of our remaining allies.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, if you look at universities like here in Wisconsin, right, this is going to be a huge burden because schools have to gather. They have to report all this detailed information. It's going to be such a tight turnaround. And it only makes me wonder if this administration, though, will use that sort of tight deadline for some sort of funding retribution if the schools don't stick to that timeline, right?
They've done it
Because-
already and for
right.
different things.
Yes. And for students, especially students who are Black, brown, maybe female, come from lower income families, this is more than just a paperwork time crunch kind of problem, right? This is another way to limit opportunities and essentially make it harder for those students to get their shot at higher education. And college is a pathway to opportunity for so many. And again, it can look different for everybody. It can be everything from a 2-year school to apprenticeships, whatever is the right path for those students. But when policies keep targeting programs that are meant to expand access, really, who is getting the opportunity and who is in charge of making that decision? Is it going to be this administration? Will schools continue to lose funding because they're not playing by the same rules that the administration wants them to? That's where my mind keeps going in a move like this.
Well, it's the answer again seems obvious. Yes, it will become a way for them to defund more programs and defund some of these schools because you didn't do what we told you, and now this is the price you're going to have to pay. And I know none of us operate under the illusion that we have complete privacy. We know things are listening. We know we're being watched by cameras wherever we go. We know all of that. But we seem to have become okay with just giving up more and more of that privacy, and this is another step in that direction. You know, we can all say, "Oh, well, our phone listens to us," and things pop. Yeah, I understand. I'm not naive. If you have an iPass or something on your car for the tolls, they know where you are. They could, and that's not paranoia. It's just true. But at some point, you have to stop and go, "Wait, why am I giving up my privacy in this instance?" And you make good points about all the reasons why we should be wary of giving up our privacy in this instance or giving up your students' privacy in this instance.
It's really hard to trust this administration based on their actions and their rhetoric and things that we have seen them try to do already. Now, in case you're wondering, too, this isn't just the public universities. Private universities and colleges will also be affected by this. They will also be made to comply because any school participating in federal student aid programs must report through this iPEDS program.
I wish they would just call it UPEDs because I don't want to identify.
Right. Now, since that 2023 Supreme Court ruling, early data shows that Black student enrollment has dropped at several highly selective universities. At Harvard, for instance, Black freshman enrollment fell from 18% to under 12% in just one admission cycle. Yes. So don't think there's a reason for this.
Tom's texting in about school closings. All the schools are closed in Madison. Most schools are closed across the state. Tom, welcome to the blizzard. Yes, all the schools are closed.
Yes. It is 7:48 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Tom Tiffany. Oh, boy. He's back in the news, and not for good on the Civic Media Network.
Yes, Tom, we will be giving the word again this hour.
Yes.
And yes, no, there is no school today.
Any school closings? Tom, come on.
Nope.
Come on,
everybody's open. Screw these kids.
I mean, the buses are barely getting around. So
the plows are barely getting around.
It looks like the wind might have died down a little bit.
I didn't think that the wind was horrible when I was driving in. There was like 1 or 2 gusts, but it didn't seem that consistent.
It looks, well, I don't know. Now I take that back. I'm watching the snow come off of these roofs. I'm wrong.
Oh, wow.
I would be wrong.
Yeah.
There was a bus that passed me coming towards me this morning, and it kicked up so much
Oh,
snow.
yeah, that
was bad.
Ridiculous.
Ugh.
How many inches of snow, Tom asks. Oh, Tom, it's varying all across the state. With the drift so far, we don't have any total reports quite yet. And it's still coming down so hard in some places, like here in Madison, that they won't give a consistent answer yet.
Should I go out and check?
You got a ruler?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you could walk 3 feet and the wind has blown it down to nothing. So you go, there's no snow on this one piece of
all
concrete.
Facts, no fiction.
This is true.
There's no snow right there.
Right there. There's no snow.
No, I think I'm seeing this right. In some parts of the state, by like the weekend, though, we're talking upper 50s, low 60s. So this is insane.
So we'll be flooding next week.
Yes, Friday 60, Saturday 68. Then back down to 42 on Sunday if this holds.
Oh, God, my dog's going to get so muddy.
I mean, then we're talking like rain and snow possibly next week. Obviously too far out, but the weekend, like once we get to like Wednesday, we go on like this huge upward swing of like near 70 again, and then it's going to go back down into the 40s and 50s. This is called spring in Wisconsin. It's fun.
Aren't you enjoying yourselves?
Oh, yeah, I was wrong. It's really windy yet. Nobody listened to me.
Yeah, don't listen to this.
I was hopeful. That was me being hopeful.
How dare you?
I hope we have this weird little alley in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's like a paved alley and almost reminds you of like some sort of neighborhood you'd see out on the West Coast, right? Where you have the garages and then it's just separated by an alley and everybody's houses sit in front, but your garages are in the back.
Okay.
And that is really hard to navigate when it's like this.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Alley suck.
Wind tunnel.
Yeah.
All right, we got 10 seconds here.
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. This is Daybreak on the Civic Media Network. And Brian, for the first round of Text to Win, we're down to about 8 minutes for you to qualify for daily prizes and a grand prize. So get your Civic Media app ready because the word is early this hour. EARLY, and some really great prizes that you're qualifying for if you happen to be the winner.
You could win $200 a day for the entire 2 week. You would win. We're giving $200 a day away for 2 weeks. And then when you text in, you're qualified for that. And then we are giving away one grand prize, which is a new mattress set from Verlo. You get the queen mattress, you get some sheets, you get a mattress protector, and you get some Active Dough pillows. That's over $1,300 worth of prize, and that is for our grand prize winner in this multi-state text to win contest. So you have about, like Jamie said, you have about 6 minutes to get in for this hour, and then be listening all day because they change the word every couple hours. Early, EARLY. You have to use the Civic Media app. If you don't, won't get. When you use the app, you'll get a little notification. Hey, you're entered to win. If you don't use the app, it doesn't count. You're not going to get. Any credit.
And make sure you spell it right.
Yes.
Yes. Spell it right.
Yes, because high-tech systems around here, it won't take your entry if it's
and we
not
don't want to hear
spelled
you
right.
whining if you spelled it wrong, because we spelled it for you. Early, EARLY. Early.
Yes, absolutely. So again,
Which
it's
is
8 o'clock.
How you vote by mail, unless you're Tom Tiffany. He doesn't want us voting by mail anymore. A new report says Tiffany wants to eliminate most mail-in voting here in Wisconsin. He said on a podcast, nothing good comes out of podcasts, unless you're listening to our podcast on the Civic Media app. Like it how I did that. He doesn't believe mail-in voting should be allowed except for members of the military. Well, too bad, I say to Tom Tiffany.
Yeah, let's hear what he had to say. This is Cut 4.
I don't believe we should be doing mail-in voting. I believe now for our service members, yes, you have to have a means for them to be able to vote, but you really have to have tight controls around it in order to make sure that you don't have dishonest voting that is going on.
There's no dishonest voting going on.
What about the vote dumps, Jamie? What about those? There's a big dump.
None of those things are real. They've all been debunked. They've all been taken through courts. It's all been debunked. Now, Tom Tiffany's position on this, though, would affect hundreds of thousands of Wisconsin voters who rely on absentee and mail-in ballots. In fact, in the 2024 presidential election, Brian, more than 1.5 million Wisconsinites voted absentee, including about 600,000 who mailed in their ballots. And this is so hypocritical because records show that Tom Tiffany himself has voted absentee 12 times since 2016.
Wow.
There's a little thing like records and facts that people can actually check. And I know they're pesky, but they're there for a reason.
Yeah. That sucks when you get caught like that, doesn't it, Tom? I don't do it. You do it. Yeah, but that's me. I'm running for governor. I can do what I want. You, no.
Yeah. Now, to be fair to Tom, it is unclear whether those ballots were mailed in or cast in person at a local clerk's office, but absentee voting is still the same system that he wants to restrict. So
even if you
look at it, it's hypocritical.
If you fill out your ballot and drop it off, whether it's at the post office or you go to an early voting box, it's the same deal. You're still absentee voting. The only way you're not is if you show up at your polling place and, you cast your ballot right there. So absentee is absentee. And I have no problem with absentee voting because it works. It works for people that need it. It's nice to have the luxury of not having to worry on election day that you can get to the polls. But early voting and absentee voting, the only time it's a problem is when you think you're going to lose.
Right. Absolutely.
When you're confident, you don't really worry about it.
I mean, if you think about it, elderly voters use mail-in or absentee ballots. People with disabilities. You think about parents who are juggling work and kids, people working overnight shifts, maybe long hours, who can't get to the polls as easily on the day of the election because, let's be real, in this country, we also make it really difficult to get to the polls, and you've got to stand there all day. Other countries, by the way, make it a national holiday and do it on the weekends. Here in the United States, we make it as inconvenient as possible. Mail-in voting essentially makes sure that all of our voices are heard. Even Tom Tiffany's, who says that he opposes all of this, his voice is also heard in that process. Now, if you restrict mail-in voting, it would make it harder for so many people to participate in the democratic process. And
Ding,
I know
ding,
that
ding, ding,
that's
ding.
the point of all
we
of
have
this.
a winner.
It's the point of all of this. And it is so infuriating because healthy democracies encourage voting. They don't put up barriers to stop them. And the current GOP in the state that they are only wants to make it more difficult because, as you rightly pointed out, they are so scared that they're going to lose if people are actually allowed to vote in a way that suits them and is completely safe. That's what this amounts to.
And it doesn't matter how many times you say or we say or anybody says nothing has ever been proven. There's no irregularities. The 2020 election has been litigated and relitigated again, and no investigations into the 2024 election because, it came out the way they wanted. So in order to keep only, and this is a quote from the former head of the DHS, the right people voting, they are doing everything possible they can. And it won't work because sooner or later, enough of us are going to stand up and say, no, that's not how this works. Your job is not guaranteed. And we have the right, you work for us and we have the right to hire and fire you at will. And you can't stop us from that. I wouldn't mind that national holiday, especially on a Saturday. Go vote.
Right. Wouldn't that be awesome? It'd be so much easier.
Yeah.
Think of the people who'd show up then. Tom would be so scared.
Oh, very scary.
It's 7:59 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. More to come on the Civic Media Network.
Alrighty, folks.
Fitty non-fitty.
Goodbye, MDX.
Bye-bye. We'll miss you. Oh, Mike had a good
Yeah, I just saw that.
good text that
Good
got
text.
bumped up by our
Yeah.
It's about to get
Summary.
bumped a couple times.
Oh, that's a great text. Do we
I'm
want
going
to go
I'm
back
going
to
to go
that?
vote early vote today cuz tomorrow I got a ton of stuff after the show.
Yeah.
Cuz tomorrow's our primary.
Tom Tiffany.
Tommy Tom.
I hate that he has so much time right now too, as the front runner for the Republicans. Why the Democrats are still.
But you know what? That all that extra time may backfire.
It might. I hope it does. I really hope it does. I hate how much money he's bringing in the meantime. Why the Democrats still fight it out with thousands here and there for all of them, but. We'll see, I guess. Blizzard's ballots and backlash. Says ChatGPT in
Wow.
our summary.
All right.
Snowstorm scandals and voting battles. No, I like the alliteration.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Does it not put what I made it? I guess not.
Tom agrees. National holiday. Yes, that is the answer for voting.
I'm
Yeah, I
glad
don't know
Tom
why we
agrees.
make it. I don't know why we make it so hard to vote in this country. It is absolutely ridiculous to me. Most of Europe allows it to be a national holiday. I also love the European rule that they have a moratorium on political news of starting Fridays at like 3 p.m.
God.
So
Oh,
that
so
if
nothing
you get,
over the weekend?
if you get all those
Nice.
big dumps, it's why in Macron's first election, remember when he was up against that right-wing nationalist Marine Le Pen? They trotted out a story about him that in this country probably would have tanked the presidency as people were going to the polls, except press in Europe has a moratorium as of I believe it's 3 p.m. If somebody listening on the stream knows better, please correct me. But they have a moratorium so that they can't report on any of those political stories over the weekend. So when people started going to the polls on that Saturday for their day of elections, nobody knew the story because unless they were on social media. Because
That's
they
good.
don't, their press doesn't report on those things. We could learn a thing or two. They also have, they also vote
Well, we could have,
presidents by
but now
popular
other
election.
countries aren't talking to us anymore.
Well,
so
that's
we're not.
true.
We can't
That's
learn
true.
anything now.
They also don't elect presidents by anything but other than popular vote in European countries.
Yeah.
Crazy concept.
That's so weird.
Like the person who gets the most votes just wins. Wow, that's weird.
That's
I
why
think-
I'm liking this ranked choice voting stuff.
I think ranked
The
choice
more we
is
talk
great.
about it, I think it's terrific.
I think the Republicans would lose their damn minds.
Oh well.
This little skid steer out here. Yep, he's getting all there's in front of the overture over here. There is like mounds of snow coming off of the roof. So he's gone back and forth up and down the sidewalk. Like this is his fourth attempt to get this huge drift plowed and off.
I totally thought he was about to go through that window for a second, too.
Oh, dude, take your bike home. What are we doing?
Oh, is somebody riding their bike?
Yeah.
Parker, do me a favor. Next person who comes by on a bike, or if there's anybody in shorts, I want you to go down and pummel them.
I think we should just open a window
Civic
and
will
start
cover
throwing.
you. Yeah,
Okay,
just-
I genuinely, one of my least favorite things about this studio is none of the windows open.
We should start pummeling people who are in shorts or on bikes with snowballs
I would love
from this
to
up
do
here.
that. I would love to do that. Or
Stick
just
a-
shout at people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love when at GN in the old building, the showcase studio had a microphone to the street that we could control.
Like Letterman used to have.
Yeah, they could hear us all the time, but then there was a microphone so they could talk to us too. And it was so much fun. There were,
Right.
sometimes
Can we
like
get one
around
of
Christmas,
those?
you'd just see people wandering like a choir, just wandering down the streets. Like, oh, hey, come here, and then they'd talk to you, or there'd be people. People always wanted to watch, so they'd gather around the window, and every once in a while you'd see something unusual. It's like, hold on, and you know me, I can't, shiny object. I'm like, hello, what are you doing over there?
We were on the bottom floor just so people could come to our window.
Yeah.
Like,
People are fascinated by it.
Sometimes
of
I
course.
think that. Other times I don't.
Oh no, it's fun. People are really fascinated by radio, though.
Yeah.
Even when TMJ moved, it was near a food court and it was tucked away in the corner. But there, every once in a while, I'd still get people looking.
Yeah.
But the way they set up the studio, you couldn't look out the windows, so people were just staring at your back, which made me very uneasy.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Civic Media Network. Hopefully you are having a great Monday, staying safe, staying warm. About 2/3 of the state still under blizzard warnings as snow continues to fall. Really, the only part of the state that is starting to see some relief is in the very northern part, the Northwoods up in the Hayward area. Otherwise, the rest of us, we're still getting the wind, we're still getting the snow, and that's going to continue for most of today. A lot of businesses are closed. Schools have basically been canceled across the state. So if you do have somewhere to be today, please call ahead would be my first piece of advice. Second of all, if you can stay home, please do, because the roads are not great. And we want everybody to be safe and warm today, because this is generational snowstorm. In fact, the governor had to declare basically a state of emergency over the weekend, knowing how bad this storm was going to be coming in. So,
well, and for, I know the weather is tricky business, and I always make fun of forecasters who, try to alarm. Oh my God, it's snowmageddon. This could be the end of the world. Well, they got it right this time, and the governor was right to make that call early. And whether you're listening to the radio or watching TV, that's how you get the most up-to-date stuff from your local area, and that's why you should have the Civic Media app. So,
yes.
You might want to download that because there's going to be another word later.
Plus, I was going to say, you're going to have multiple chances to qualify for that $200 in cash and that Verlo a Queen mattress set over a $1,300 value. Multi-state break into spring text to win contest is officially what it's called. And tomorrow morning, we'll give you more chances. But today, don't miss out. Be listening all day long, because you can qualify and put your name into the drawing as many times as you can possibly use your app to text in to possibly win.
Well, this was another big week for some blowhards from the administration to make empty threats against free speech. And man, oh man, I get so tired of this FCC chairman, Brendan Carr. You remember Brendan Carr. He's the one who tried to get Jimmy Kimmel fired. He's the one who is just basically taking free speech away from broadcasting. And he got a lot of attention this weekend because Saturday he threatened the licenses of local broadcasters over news coverage he deemed to be fake. Now, it was not. The real reason is this is, the president had said something about it earlier. The president doesn't like how he's being portrayed in the media. He doesn't like the coverage of the war because we're actually reporting on, fatalities. We're reporting about what he wants it just to be the glory of the U.S. military. And listen, we are. I'll speak for myself. I am fully in support of the military. That doesn't mean I support this war or I support this administration. Two things can be true, but when you gaslight people enough, it's if you are critical of the war, you're critical of the military. No. I'm critical of the commander-in-chief of the military because he doesn't know what he's doing. So the president doesn't like it. And Brendan Carr decided he was going to piggyback on these comments and made the threat. Now, the bottom line is TV stations are not at serious risk of being banned from the airwaves because of Brendan Carr's crusade. That's just the bottom line. But again, you keep spreading these rumors, you keep making these threats, and it just gets wilder and wilder.
Well, and I think his comments still carry weight because he represents the U.S. government and advances the policy of this administration. The administration continues to take very extraordinary actions, and by applying this extreme pressure to crack down on news content and entertainment that the president simply dislikes.
And if this doesn't scare you more than as
Right.
much as anything else, I don't know what will actually worry you about this
Right.
country. Think of the only other places you know where the state regulates the news that people receive.
And let's be realistic. If this is that hard for the administration, then maybe they just need to go figure out what rights give Americans the opportunity for free speech and freedom of the press. This one isn't complicated, but you don't even need to read far.
No.
It's number one. It's the First Amendment to the Constitution. It makes it really simple for you in this particular case. So I would suggest that maybe they start there.
They're too thin-skinned for calling everybody else snowflakes and woke.
Right?
Boy, they are the most easily offended, and they're so much little babies. Oh, don't only say nice things to us.
And so on Saturday, if you don't know this full story, a car was at Mar-a-Lago at the resort where, the Southern White House or whatever we
Because
call
God
it.
forbid Nero was in the White House during times
Right?
of war.
And he was seen talking with the president there, at least according to club goers. And because we have to get all of our factual information from the attendees of parties at Mar-a-Lago because that's how this works now. But Carr followed up on one of Trump's True Social posts complaining about news coverage of the war by posting a warning on X. He said, quote, broadcasters that are running hoaxes and news distortions, also known as the fake news, have a chance now to correct course before their license renewals come up. The law is clear. Broadcasters must operate in the public interest, and they will lose their licenses if they do not, end quote.
That's not
how
right.
this works. It's not how any of this works. And even by posting something like that, it's a dangerous precedent. Because if you're threatening a broadcast license because the president just doesn't like coverage, that has nothing to do with protecting the public interest.
No.
It has everything to do with protecting the president's image. And if that concern is that the president looks bad in the news, then there is a really simple solution, Brian. Make decisions based on facts and follow the law.
Well, sure. And maybe put the needs of, you campaigned as America first. Well, put Americans first in your decision-making process.
Right.
But it's hard to put other people first when your main goal is to line your pockets with more and more money. To enrich yourself, it's hard to enrich others when your focus is just making yourself even richer and richer. Here's the thing. Nobody's long-sighted enough. Brendan Carr shoots his mouth off. He doesn't think, okay, well, there's a lot of other broadcast networks that are operating. Still, they will claim in the public interest that half of the public doesn't want to hear either and thinks that their news is fake. Facts can be easily checked. You can tell if something is fake if you try to research it in depth and you can't find anything to back it up. Also, other than major networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, nothing on cable is overseen by the FCC. The cable is still a Wild West. So you might say, let's get rid of CNN. Can't, not regulated. Right. I might say, hey, you should check out OAN. Well, they can spout off whatever they want to because they're not regulated by the FCC. Right. The only time that comes into play is if somebody like Disney buys ABC. Well, then Disney, who is not regulated by the FCC, owns ABC, who is, and Paramount now with the CBS stuff. That's why you see Paramount acquiescing to Trump because they get in trouble. stand to lose a lot of money if
Right.
CBS stations, not the network itself, it's the individual
Right.
stations.
That's just the point too, and I think that bears pointing out. Your big affiliate, your big networks are not the ones who license. You would be literally taking out the local stations. That is very important, and I think that's a part of the media that a lot of people overlook.
Right.
So Trump has repeatedly conflated that licensing process. No big surprise. While attacking national networks for airing certain shows and asking in particular questions. So that is definitely important to keep in the back of your mind. The other point too that's very important in this argument, the FCC has not denied a license renewal in decades. Any government action against his licensee would actually cause a protracted legal battle. Even more so given the current media bashing climate, because a station would likely cite the president's retributive streak and mount a First Amendment case, to which most judges are going to be like, yeah, it's right there in black and white. Nothing has changed. And
Sorry,
that's going to be
bub.
the end of it.
Now, I don't want to run out of time, Jamie,
Yes.
and you know you know how this kills me when I say I must once again throw a rose to Ron Johnson. Credit where credit is due for a moment. This is going to wilt and die fast, but we're going to give it to him while we can. Because Ron Johnson actually came out and criticized Brendan Carr and the threats of these broadcast licenses. And I couldn't believe it. I saw the headline and I was like, this has to be a misprint. I'm going to reread it. And I read the story, and no, he did. He did it on Fox News.
He did. Every once in a while, he can hit the hammer on the nail on the head, and we have to give him his props. Now, he's probably already done some of that today.
He's
already
backpedaled at his test.
I haven't
But
checked
for
the
right
news,
now,
but-
let's just live in the moment.
Yes, that's right. So, cut 5, please.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of the First Amendment. I do not like the heavy hand of government, no matter who's wielding it. So, no, I'd rather the federal government stay out of the private sector as much as possible. And really, the federal government's role is to protect our freedoms, protect our constitutional rights.
He's not wrong. He's absolutely 100% right. And there's a bit of a practical reason for this, I think, too.
Okay.
When I listen to him speak, if the Republicans start using government power to threaten media now, think about a future Democratic administration. They could easily apply the same rules to conservative media outlets down the road. And maybe this isn't Ron Johnson, because this is where it gets hinky for me, because it is hard for me to give him credit. Maybe he's actually not really that great, really not thinking about the First Amendment all that much. Maybe he's actually thinking about protecting the messaging that his side relies so heavily on. But even if that's the case, he's still not wrong on this principle, Brian.
Right. And if he doesn't understand, that Fox News is going to be Fox News no matter who's in charge, because they're not regulated by the FCC, that's fine. And if he does understand that, that's fine too. In this point, you got to go, all right, he came out on their airwaves and said this, and it's, I don't know, it's good. We got to, you got to give the guy a little credit, a pinch of credit.
It's so
Just
hard.
it is hard, but it's going to be all right. And we're going to, this is something that, we do operate under the FCC rules. That's why we can't say certain things.
Right.
There are rules, but that's us. If something were to happen, it would be whatever station you're listening to now. It wouldn't be Civic, but Civic Media would be pressured as a whole, and that's why these companies are doing it. And it's scary, because you heard Pete Hegseth threaten this the other day when he was talking to a reporter from CNN. They want to consolidate ownership of all big media companies.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. Brendan Carr is just full of bluster. The scary part is the consolidation of ownership amongst hardcore conservative right-wing media companies that is affecting all sorts of outlets, not just Fox News or OAN or any of those other ones. This is starting to affect. We saw it with
affiliates.
So we saw it with the press. We saw it. We're seeing it with broadcasting. So you got to pay attention.
We need a free and independent press, because people across the political spectrum need to be able to hold leaders accountable. Reporters need to examine
Yes.
facts. They need to examine the merits of a case and not worry about whether the government is going to punish them for doing their job under the First Amendment. It is 8:19 right now. I am Jamie Martinson. You're listening to Daybreak.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Senator Mark Spreitzer joins us to talk about ranked choice voting after this on the Civic Media Network.
Tom in Hartford, now listening on WXCO. Yes, Tom in Hartford, listening on WXCO. There will be a different word every hour throughout the day, so you have to be listening and paying attention.
Every 2 hours. The word changes. It
Every
changes
couple of
multiple
hours.
times throughout the day.
That's right.
Tom in Hartford.
And John from Oshkosh, listening on WISS, saying Trump continually plays the victim. Such a weak person, typical bully. You are not wrong, sir.
You know, John thinks that, but it's all Biden's fault.
Well, of course.
So
Well,
that's how we do
I
it.
mean, I can see how you conflate the two. Definitely makes sense. Nope.
Wait, what
nope.
happened?
Two little skid steers almost went headfirst into each other. You go that way, you go that way. All right, we're good. This is like dinner and a show.
Yeah, why don't we just do play-by-play after the senator?
I wish while we're listening to this pre-record, I'm gonna try to set up that camera better.
Hey, can't you hang off the side of the building, clean off the lens, aim it somewhere
Yeah.
different?
Come on.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
Come on, Parker.
If I get hurt, I get paid. It's like workers.
That's right.
Comp. Yeah, there
Workers' comp. Then you could tell your dad, I'm staying home today, Dad, because I'm a
It wasn't
paraplegic.
It wasn't it wasn't the driving that was the problem. It was the ladder on the side of the building.
Yeah.
In a blizzard
Yeah.
in the ice. I'm dedicated to my job.
That's right. You are an essential worker.
All right, so we got most of the big drift out from underneath in front of the overture,
Oh,
and
the
now
snowblower now.
now we've got a snow blower getting the little stuff.
Here's the debate: snow blower or snow thrower?
Blower. It's always been a snow blower.
I've always called it a snow blower, but then I see other
But
people.
they are two separate things.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think it's the augers is a thrower,
yes.
right?
Yes.
If you have augers.
Oh, this never works, so I think it does.
I was going to say, what happened? Who's that? Oh, that's the senator.
That's the pre-record. Yeah. All right, muted mics will be out for a while.
All right, bye.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate it. Hopefully your Monday is off to a great start. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. Recently, we had a guest on the program, and we talked about ranked choice voting. Now, I'll speak for Jamie. Both she and I thought this was a good idea, and we wondered on the show if this could ever come to Wisconsin. Well, last week, we got part of the answer. State Senator Mark Spreitzer, along with State Representative Clinton Anderson, introduced LRB 5709, which would implement ranked choice voting for state, local, and federal elections here in Wisconsin. Senator Spreitzer joins us now to share the plan. Senator, thank you for being here. This is very coincidental that we've been talking about this. It sounds like a great idea, but for people who might not be clear on the concept, can you explain ranked choice voting and how it differs from the system that's in place now in Wisconsin?
Absolutely. In the current system in Wisconsin and in most states in the United States, if there's a race where only one candidate can win, say state legislator, mayor, governor, president, you only get to vote for one person. And that often forces you to choose between the two people who have a realistic shot at winning, which are usually the two major party candidates, the Democrat and the Republican. In a primary, like we have right now in Wisconsin for governor on the Democratic side, where there might be, 8 or 10 candidates on the ballot, you only get to vote for your favorite, and you kind of have to figure out, does that person have a chance? In ranked choice voting, it works differently. You get to rank the candidates. Your favorite choice gets your first choice, number one, and then your second choice gets number two. You don't have to rank them all if there's a couple people you just don't like, but you certainly can rank them all so that even if you dislike a couple of candidates, but maybe would prefer one over the other, you can go ahead and rank them that way. The way that then works is that in our current system, you don't actually have to get 50% of the vote to win. You just have to get more votes than the next candidate. In ranked choice voting, somebody actually has to clear that 50% threshold. And if nobody does, when you look at everybody's first choice, then you eliminate the person who came in last, and you take the ballots of the people who that was their first choice, and you say, well, who was their second choice? And you move those people's votes to their second choice candidate, and you keep doing that until somebody actually clears that 50% threshold. The value of that is that you actually have a winner that has majority support instead of just plurality support, and also that it encourages more friendly campaigns, because even if somebody's not your first choice, they want to be your second choice or your third choice, and so some of the negative campaigning that we see can be diminished a bit.
Senator, this bill would include funding for voter education and election equipment updates. So how would the state help local clerks and voters adjust to this new system?
Yeah, most of our voting machines would be able to read ballots that worked in this way, but there would certainly have to be a different ballot design. Clerks would have to understand how to program that, but most importantly, voters would need to understand, okay, what happens if I rank everybody? What happens if I only put a first choice and don't rank others? How do I have confidence that I know my vote's getting counted and how it's getting counted? And I think once people understand that it's just rank your preferences, it's pretty easy, but we're certainly going to need to do a public awareness campaign if we were to implement something like this. And, this system is used in various cities around the country. It's used in various organizations, including the Oscars. But most importantly, it is used statewide in Alaska and Maine. There are slight variations in how each of those states uses ranked choice voting, but they both use it in statewide races. And so we've seen that this can be successfully implemented and that voters can understand how it works.
And the voters in Alaska, you bring them up as an example, they actually voted to keep it. There was a challenge after the first election, and the voters there said, no, this is a system that we like. Do you envision because one of the biggest problems, Senator, is turnout. Do you think, or is there evidence or your opinion on will ranked choice voting increase voter turnout because it ends the negative advertising or the negative campaigning, as you said, and it also gets rid of that voting for the lesser of two evils aspect?
I hope that over time it will. I talk to people who wonder, why don't we have more independent candidates? Or, they want to vote for a third party candidate, but they know that person doesn't have a shot and they don't want to waste their vote. In this system, you don't have to waste your vote. And so it may be that at the end of the day, it is still a race between the Democrat and the Republican, but more voters have a chance to express their preferences along the way. And over time, that may give voters more choices in terms of candidates choosing to actually run. So I hope it would increase voter turnout. One of the things we've seen in both Alaska and in Maine, this did not become law through the legislative process. It became law because those states have a citizen initiative process, and it was actually the voters who advocated for this and essentially forced it on the politicians. So Wisconsin doesn't have that process. That's why I'm introducing a bill, and this would have to go through the legislature. But I've actually been pleasantly surprised at how many of my legislative colleagues are open to the idea.
That's actually going to be my next question. We're talking with Senator Mark Spreitzer from Senate District 15, also the Minority Caucus Chair. What kind of support, with about a minute and a half left, do you expect for this to get in the legislature, Senator?
I think there's pretty strong support among legislative Democrats. We also have a lot of new Democrats, which is part of, it's the end of the session. This is not going to pass this year. I'm really trying to build momentum for 2027. But part of that is I've introduced this bill in the past, but there are a lot of new Democrats who got elected this last round who haven't seen this bill before. And so we wanted to restart that conversation ahead of next time. But I think if Democrats were to be in the majority next session, we'd have a serious conversation about whether this is something we wanted to advance.
Well, Senator, I think it's a great idea. I hope it does gain some more traction. We appreciate you being here and explaining the bill. Again, this is Senator Mark Spreitzer. He represents Senate District 15 from Beloit. He's the Minority Caucus Chair. We appreciate your time this morning, Senator. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're very welcome.
You're listening.
All right, Jamie. Ranked voting. We've been calling for it.
Oh, yes.
I'm down.
I know. I'm all about it. We've talked about it a few times, and I think it makes sense for Wisconsin. You are listening to Daybreak. I am Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and this is the Civic Media Network.
Can you not agree with ranked choice voting?
Because
look
then
at
I don't
you,
get to control
Parker.
people. Oh, this is the
Nicely
show within
done.
the show.
Nicely done.
It's about as good as it's going to get with how much snow is on that window.
That's
Holy
okay.
cow.
That looks good.
It looks like they're getting the sidewalks done across the street. So
They
that's
are.
good.
They're trying. Keeps blowing right off this roof, though.
Snow does not respect the shovel.
No, it really doesn't. Wind even less so.
Oh, why doesn't it? Oh, that's so.
Well, hop on.
That's so silly.
Oh, then now we can't
StreamYard's a
see.
silly thing. If you hadn't noticed.
Oh my. Just letting you enjoy the splendor of a winter morn in this peaceful show within a show. That's Parker, are you planning all Irish instrumentals for tomorrow's bump music?
Oh, sure.
I hope you
I don't
are
know if I
now.
have the rights
now
to
that
use
I've
any of it,
now
but
that I've
sure.
told you, huh?
I don't know if we have the rights to use any of it, but sure.
You should.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're only playing a little
The
bit.
ones I know.
Just go to Spotify.
Okay. Get ready for a lot of Gaelic Storm.
I've curated many lists, but most of it has lyrics.
Well, throw me what you got.
All
I'll
right.
see what I can do.
There's fun stuff. Let's see. So we're doing a drinking show tomorrow, is that right? Irish coffees to start
Yes.
the day, and then we'll
We
move
should.
into some Guinnesses
Yep.
as or draft stout. I was corrected
Yes.
when we interviewed Guinness. They said everybody orders it wrong. They just go up and say Guinness. Well, it is the draft stout. Guinness is the company.
Oh.
Draft stout is the beer. And I was like, I don't know, dude. Every Irish pub I went into in Ireland, I just said, I'll have a pint of Guinness. And they knew what I was talking about.
Last year on to End Maggie show, we did do a quick sip of Guinness on the air and with a cheers.
Nice.
Mr. Plow King over on social media says, play some Pogues.
Pogues are always good. Let me see if it. All right. How do maybe you know this, Parker? Can I can share a how can I share a playlist? Or can I share a playlist?
You should be
I'm
able to.
looking
Dexter
now.
shares
Oh,
stuff
share.
with
There
me
we
all
go.
the time.
Share.
Yeah.
I got it.
I'm pretty sure.
All right.
If you want to text it to me.
Yeah, or I'll copy the link and I'll drop it right in the chat.
Oh, how about that?
How about that? Look at me. I'm not.
pretty good.
I catch on pretty quick. I've just never done it before, so that's why I go.
Yeah.
Is this something I can do?
Yes. Yes.
Well, it is
It's
something
how-
I can do.
It's how I end up with so many playlists of the Deftones, Skrillex, and
There you go.
that's Dexter's
It's in the
music.
chat.
See
see
what
what else
give it a
I've got.
gander after the show.
Yeah. I'm glad I asked now because I was like, well, it's St. Patrick's Day. We should have.
Of course.
yeah.
I was actually
on
thinking
now.
about that yesterday.
I don't know that I would have thought of it, to be honest with you, until
What?
tomorrow morning.
How dare you?
Not until tomorrow morning, I probably wouldn't have, because I don't pay attention to days.
We're green tomorrow.
You know, I accidentally wore green today, and this might
I
be
saw
my only
you-
green.
I
So,
saw you wore green today. I figured I'd carry it throughout the
Mine's
the
like
first couple
light
days.
greenish. And I do have dark green in my closet. I'll pull
I
that up
didn't
for tomorrow
on.
with some jeans.
I did not
Oh,
do
my
it on
goodness, Packers.
Saturday. I went with just my legit Irish sweater and stuff when I went
Mhm.
out.
Nice.
But yeah. All right, I'm sending you two playlists.
Oh, beautiful.
One is mine. One is one of those Spotify deals.
Oh, sure. Very nice.
Yeah. So you should be able to come up with some stuff out of there.
Oh yeah, I probably could have come up with
Oh, I know you could
enough
have.
out of there, but yeah,
I know, but
I'm glad to have.
Now
a
you
couple
can
of things.
keep them for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
and
We
enjoy
got
them.
5 seconds till we're back.
Oh my God, that's no time.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:35 right now. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're in La Crosse listening on WLCX or in Hayward on WBZH or even in Wausau this morning on WXCO, hopefully you are safe and enjoying a snow day because there's a pretty good chance that, if you live in Wisconsin, you're probably getting a snow day today or at least a work from home day,
Yes.
which also turns into entertain the kids a day because they don't have school.
Correct.
Easier said than done.
Right, and if you're listening in Hayward on the Buzz, you probably you're not under the blizzard warning anymore, which is good. You're in a severe weather outlook. So as the storm starts to move to the east, everybody else, most of the state's still under that blizzard warning until 4:00 this afternoon. So be careful if you do have to go out. Just be really careful. But if you're in Hayward and some of the other Northwoods communities, the worst of it is past you. Now you just got to deal with the cleanup in the cold, and that's fine. So we've been focusing a lot on the Trump administration immigration policy, which to most of us is focused on ICE and the raids and the occupation of Minneapolis and the illegal detentions and the killings of 2 American citizens. What we're not paying attention to, and we talked about this last week because news is starting to come out about detention centers, and there being more and more detention centers, and the administration trying to buy up warehouses. And there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that we don't really always know about. So there was a lot of coverage about this over the weekend. We decided we needed to talk about it. So there's a dramatic expansion in the works for the immigration system of detaining, whether they're illegals or not. A lot of times they're not. But the detention centers are often run by, yes, private prison companies. So this is a money-making enterprise for people, and I wonder who will get those contracts, Jamie. But yes, we're really looking at a change in the immigration policy, and it's moving toward warehousing human beings like they're pallets of, you pick the product analogy you want to insert there, and just getting more and more people stacked up and certain people making a lot more money.
And what I think is most troubling is if you're not troubled by that just news alone, the fact that when you look at the allegations of the poor conditions, the medical neglect that is happening at these warehouses that have already been established, you should be very concerned about what is happening in this country. The federal government obviously disputes any of those acquisitions and says that they just need more space for the largest deportation effort in American history. Officials are increasing the number of immigrants in custody and spending billions on this controversial plan to detain more people.
What is it? Is it the biggest immigration in history, or is it Biden and Obama deported more people? Which is it? And yes, there's no doubt, there's no denying the Obama administration deported more people. The Biden administration deported more people. They didn't do it cruelly and recklessly and without a plan. And they didn't try to build alligator Alcatraz or buy warehouses to stack people up like cordwood. You can do both. You can have deportations, you can have mass deportations, and you can have a strong immigration policy without cruelty. You can do both.
Yes, and you hit it on the head. This is about the cruelty of it all. This is inhumane, what we're seeing happen across this country. There are absolutely ways to address immigration in this country because clearly our system needs some sort of overhaul. We're not sitting here saying that it's perfect, that it was run right by President Obama or by President Biden. It needs a clear overhaul from start to finish. But rounding up people and filling detention centers, that's not reform. That's force. That's essentially what you're committing is brute force when we're talking about these detention centers. And it seems like there's been a lot of movement on lots of different fronts as far as ICE detention centers go and why they're becoming significant right now in the news. First of all, Brian, the number of immigrants detained is really growing. In fact, about 70,000 detainees in ICE custody as of right now. That's an increase of more than 80% from the total detained when Trump took office just over a year ago, which is
It's quite a jump.
mind-boggling. Yeah, that's mind. If you think about that number, though, it's actually mind-boggling to think about the amount of people being detained right now versus literally just a year ago. It is startling, in fact, all at the same time. And that number comes from both by increasing arrests and blocking many people from requesting release on bond. So obviously the number of people, if you're not giving them bond, they're going to stay in custody.
Right. Once
so that
you're
number
in,
goes
you're
up.
in.
Right. Absolutely. What I think is also very scary as we talk about this story is the number of children that are currently in custody right now as well, which is becoming more common in the second administration. Now, the Biden administration actually stopped detaining immigrant families at facilities, which, first started housing families during the Obama administration. The Trump administration began holding families again in April of last year. Recent reports, though, indicate that hundreds of families are being detained at that Dilley facility. During Trump's first administration, 2 whistleblower doctors told Congress that family detention was harmful to kids and should be stopped. And there's similar concerns being raised by doctors under the second version.
Activist doctors, no doubt, who are
of course.
tied to science.
Did they talk to RFK?
Hogwash.
And Dr. Oz, did they talk to any of them to find out what was actually going on? Those are the trusted voices in medicine, obviously.
Yeah, right. You mean the guy who's not a doctor?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Both of them. Yeah, yep, those two things. I think what is also, as we look at what is happening in the United States right now under this administration, the amount of people who are dying in ICE detention right now. At least 31 people, in fact, have died in ICE detention or did last year. That's according to reports released by DHS. That's the highest.
So if they're releasing those numbers, could be a suspect. That's all I'll say.
It's the highest total since 2004. And just over 2 months into this calendar year, at least 11 people have died in ICE detention. That's a trend that sparked concern from those who track these numbers and see them as a troubling indicator of widespread problems in our detention center. That's probably the most obvious statement anybody will ever say or write. At least 3 detention deaths have been reported at Camp East, Montana. This is actually, if you're not familiar with it, it's a tent facility in Texas at Fort Bliss where an average of nearly 3,000 detainees are held daily. That's larger than any other ICE detention site in the country. And one death there bears a notable distinction because a local medical examiner actually ruled it as a homicide, unfortunately.
Interesting. Yeah, that is just the fact that 3,000 people are being held there. Intense in the West Texas heat. It's, I don't know. It seems inhumane, and I don't know how did we do it before and not have this issue? That's the question. Deportations have been happening, and big numbers have been happening. Why does this administration feel the need to warehouse and show off and project? Is it another overcompensation to try to project strength? That look how many people we can inter, and then in the name of immigration when we already have seen there are numerous people who are put in these places. They're not allowed to contact attorneys. They're not allowed to apply for bond, as you said, and they are U.S. citizens, or they are guilty of nothing other than being an illegal immigrant. Now, is that illegal? Yes. Are there different ways to deal with those people? Yes. This is not the way.
Here's the other thing too, and I know we've talked about it on this program, but it bears reminding in the light of all of this new information coming out about how this administration is handling immigration and illegal residents. They are still afforded some rights under the Constitution.
Yes.
They are still afforded rights as far as what our Constitution lays out. And here's the other thing that I would say. If this is an illegal immigrant who has committed some sort of crime, then yes, that needs to be handled. But they are still also offered due process under this Constitution. Yes. So those are very important things to remember when we're talking about the lack of humanity in what is happening right now with this particular administration. They are not animals.
And I will change. I know I've been saying illegal immigrant, undocumented immigrant. I know is the preferred wording. And Jamie, you may be thinking, well, Brian, where's the oversight? There's got to be some oversight. Well, not anymore, really. There was oversight in the past. Not surprising that because of DOJ, the DHS Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties was slashed, going down from 147 employees to less than 40, which is how DHS is still saying, well, we do have oversight. Mm-hmm. Yeah, technically you do, but you have, almost a third of what you had before, just over a third of what you had before.
What I also love is that DHS is like, when it comes to deaths in these centers, they're like, well, that's not that big of a number. There's no spike. Look at the number of people that we're holding and detaining. Yeah. So there can't. When you look at that and you ration
percentage.
It out, it's a math thing, and you obviously don't understand. So the rationale, the oversight is obviously we're lacking. We're lacking quite a bit in any sort of sound judgment calls. Which, let's be real, with this administration, it's not surprising.
Once you start saying, well, could be where those people could have died.
Right.
Even if they weren't in our unsanitary, no medical access detention centers, right? They probably could have just got hit by a bus or something, or choked on a piece of meat. You never know.
But I think what's most troubling is they don't have any plans to stop either. Because as we've talked,
they want it to keep going.
That's right.
Bigger and better.
There are details that have emerged about these plans to buy warehouses across the country and convert them into massive detention centers. The plan, by the way, funded by $38 billion from the big, beautiful bill Congress passed last year, calls for the acquisition and renovation of 8 facilities that can house between 7,000 and 10,000 detainees for up to 60 days and 16 regional processing sites that can hold as many as 1,500 detainees for up to 7 days. Right now, there are warehouses that have been purchased in 10 locations in Michigan, New Jersey, in a couple in Georgia, a couple in Pennsylvania, in Arizona, a couple of locations in Texas, and in Maryland. And by the way, if you're thinking that I didn't say anything about Wisconsin, you would be wrong, because there is a processing center that is going up on the north side of Milwaukee. It is an 18,000 square foot ice processing center, is essentially what that is. We are not immune.
No, and somebody's making money, and it's going to cost you more money because, if they privatize it, we don't have to pay for it. Who's paying them? The government is going to pay them. That's our money, again, used for something like this. Listen, I've had enough. I've had enough of the news for now. I need a 7-minute break from the news and the snow. I want to talk about all the glamorous Hollywood people. So can we talk about the Oscars when we come back?
Of course. We need to talk about the Oscars. Who are the big winners? Who are the losers? It's 8:48 on the Civic Media Network.
All right. Now it's time for the real show. We do the Oscars.
No, the real show is informative and interesting and soul crushing at times. And
Exactly.
this was the first time in years. I used to love watching the Oscars. I would watch it every year, the whole thing, start to finish. And then I stopped because, one, I hadn't seen any movies, and two, I was tired of kind of the self-congratulatory pomposity of the whole thing. But I watched the entire thing last night. I even watched a little red carpet.
Ooh.
Just a
Who's
little,
the
just
best
a little,
dressed?
just a little after I was done going over this stuff and some other things. I was like, oh, because I went to turn on the news and the red carpet was on. So, but I watched the ceremony, and we'll save it for the show.
It was relatively tame.
Yeah. I was hoping not hoping, but I was expecting that there was going to be a few more.
Kimmel had a couple good singers.
Kimmel did. Conan did too. Conan brought the heat. There was the one, was it the documentary filmmaker who listed all the countries that his staff and cast were from? Javier Bardem with some homemade crazy lapel sign.
Yes, it was huge.
I was like, did a kid make that for you, Javier? and maybe his kid made it for him. That's great if he wore it. So that was good. We don't want to do the whole show within a show about the show we're about to do for the show, but a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there was a lot to talk about.
I actually have seen now. I saw 3 of the movies. We watched Begonia the other night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you said that in chat.
It was weird. Just like
I will say this about Oscar movies. I know that they are graded on a much different criteria than what a lot of people are going to go sit down and see in a theater. Most Oscar movies, I go to sit down and watch them, and I'm like, this is not a great film. Like, it's not for maybe just sitting down and watching.
Maybe, yeah.
Like if
Sinners was close to a popcorn
Sinners was
movie.
close. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have not even got to see all of that yet.
Oh, it's good.
But I feel like a lot of times when I sit down to those films, I'm like, this is not the type of enjoyable relaxation kind of just sit back, mundane thought.
No, you've got to focus. Like, I don't.
Yes.
I didn't look at my phone once during Begonia because I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And Debbie dozed like in the first 10 minutes, and then woke up, and she had missed a major plot point. And she's like,
And then
"What's
she was
that?"
lost.
I'm like, were you sleeping? No. Well, then you would have seen it. If you didn't, if you were awake and you didn't see it, I can't help
Right. I have
Yeah,
a hard time
15.
with those.
15.
it. Okay. 15 minutes.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Brian, before we headed to break, you said it. We were going to put away the politics, not talk about this
Just for a
crummy
couple
weather.
minutes. Listen.
But I mean, it was big news though yesterday.
The Oscars are a big deal.
They're a big deal. They're a really big deal.
Yes, and it's not in the whole scheme of the world. Is it a big deal? No, but it is a big thing in America. Listen, the United States is the cultural hub for film, and all these other countries that are now doing great things. All of their filmmakers say they were influenced by U.S. films. We know the foreign market for our exports is great for movies. So it is big news to talk about the movies. And I watched the entire ceremony for the first time in years last night. And overall, I came away, I was entertained. I didn't have to do a lot of thinking.
Right.
But I was
Which I always
entertained.
appreciate.
I was entertained.
I think one of the things that was most striking to me last night was watching the memoriam, right? Where you look at the amount of huge Hollywood classic, iconic names that we've lost within the last year. And I think that because you know life happens and you forget. We talk about them. You talk about them for a day or so. You're sad. You might go through and watch a couple of their films just to kind of remember. But then life moves on. And then you see them stand up there and you see them being honored in this tribute. And you're like, oh my God, that person's gone.
There were a
We'll
couple
never
that
see them.
I out loud went, oh, I forgot they died this year.
Right.
And it was really touching. Rachel McAdams eulogizing, well, first Billy Crystal coming out
Yeah.
and eulogizing Rob Reiner and his wife, and then having, and it was beautiful because Billy Crystal had been, and he told the story of how they became friends. He guest starred on All in the Family and played Rob Reiner's best friend. Then he gave a very emotional, as you can imagine, talk about his best friend. And when the curtain rose and all of these people who had starred in Rob Reiner's movies came out, and some were in tears. Some you could tell were just in shock. So that was the first one. Then Rachel McAdams eulogizing Diane Keaton and mentioning Catherine O'Hara. And then Barbara Streisand coming out, because I had forgotten that. See, that's a problem. Robert Redford died so early in the year.
Yes.
I had forgotten.
Right.
And when Barbara Streisand came out to eulogize Robert Redford, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And the only thing I kept thinking was, how did they choose those two icons? Not that those two are not
Right.
befitting a eulogy like that, but then it's like, well, how did they not pick Robert De Niro or Catherine O'Hara? So, and that doesn't take away from what they did. And Barbara, I will say, Debbie was like, she doesn't look that great, but man, she could still hit those notes.
Yes,
when she sang The Way We Were, I was like, all right, Barbara, you still got it.
And I love that Barbara Streisand is she's a little bit of an enigma, right? Like, we know that she's been a little harder in Hollywood to get along with, but then for her to sit there and refer to herself as Babs, which is what Robert Redford called her, I was like, that's like an actual human moment with this person, right? Who seems to be on this pedestal that we put her on because she's Barbara's.
And she did admit that she didn't like being called Babs, and he was the only one that would call her Babs, and he never stopped up until.
Yes, I love that.
So the whole in memoriam was very moving last night, and I'm sure today they forgot so. Well, but now they put up a QR code at the bottom and a link to say for everybody in case. There's a full list here, so they did that. I thought Conan did a really nice job.
I thought Conan was great.
He had some great. One that we can't really talk about here, but if you go back and watch, he slammed Trump
some
with
zingers.
with a couple. One, the Epstein one got some moans. It was great. But there were still those awkward moments between Sigourney Weaver and was she with Pedro Pascal, who shaved his mustache and was dressed like a waiter at a Spanish steakhouse? He looked like he was either going to be in a tango contest or he was working at Fogo de Chao, bringing you skewers of meat. I'm like, Pedro, wear a jacket. I don't know what the big crazy boutonniere satellite deal that was on his shirt. I was like, all right. And he shaved his mustache.
He did. He did. It's hard. That mustache distinguishes him, right?
Yes.
So at first he came out. If they wouldn't have said it was Pedro Pascal, I would have been like, wait, who is that?
But he looked very young. That happened to me with Ewan McGregor, who came out with Nicole Kidman to present Best Picture. And I was like, is that you? First of all, Ewan McGregor, get a soapbox to stand on next to Nicole Kidman. You are wee. So, you are just a wee lad.
Were there any big winners that surprised you or any moments that surprised you last night?
I loved Amy Madigan's speech when she won for Best Supporting Actress, because this is a woman who's been in the industry forever. She's done tons of work. I forgot she was married to Ed Harris, another fantastic journeyman actor. And so she got up there and she gave a Frances McDormand style acceptance speech where she was just sassy and fun and real. And it was like, oh, this is what Amy Madigan would be like sitting at a bar talking to her. So that was a great one. I was surprised, not that Sinners didn't win them all, but there was that one battle after another won more than they thought they would, and it deserved it. I thought One Battle After Another was great. Paul Thomas Anderson is terrific, but I was glad to see Ryan Coogler get the original screenplay, and Michael B. Jordan gave a wonderful acceptance speech.
Yes,
and
agreed.
He did a great job playing two characters in Sinners, so that was...
and I know there's been some talk about Sean Penn. He won Best Supporting Actor.
Not showing up.
It wasn't. Do you know why? Because he was actually traveling to the Ukraine. He's in Europe for a planned visit to the country, prioritizing that over the ceremony. He also skipped other awards like the BAFTAs and the ACTRA Awards this year as well, but he'll be doing some humanitarian
him.
work in Ukraine. So he wasn't just boycotting. He actually had a legitimate reason for being there in case.
Boy, and that Delroy Lindo was not happy the rest of the night. Delroy, you could see it on his face. He wanted to win. But overall, a good Oscar experience. We're done. We got to go shovel out. We do. We
get
out of here.
Absolutely. We do. Thank you for joining us today. It is 8:59 right now. You're listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Civic Media Network.
All right, live stream. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good.